What up, nerds? We are back, and you're your host for another episode of the Winner Is You podcast. This is one that has been on the cards probably since the beginning of a Winner Is You podcasting times. I'm actually stunned it has taken us this long to get here, Alex, and it's taken us multiple years of Summer of Resident Evil to discuss this. I don't know. It's probably a GOAT, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Sure is.
If you haven't read the description of this podcast, it's none other than Resident Evil 4. 2005's Resident Evil 4 to be precise, not the remake. We did that last year. Now this year,
done that.
We're here to talk about the old version of the game.
I would actually really like it if there was someone out there who's taken it upon themselves to develop a system of blindly listening to our podcast episodes and not reading the description, just to actually get the excitement of, what could it be? And sitting there for ages like, no, don't look.
I don't know. What's it going to be? They should know, because hopefully some of them, I don't know, hopefully some of them are listening to a podcast that they've played a game of.
Yeah, they just they turn it off as soon as you go, next up, what have we got? They go,
no. Why has it taken us so long? I mean, I think it's probably of this particular type of podcast. This is the third year of Summer of Resi, and it's one of your favorite games. Fourth, and it's one of your favorite games of all time.
Well, last year, obviously, we had basically 2 years now of doing it in order. Effectively, but just sort of swapping them round. I think we did, because I think 1 year we did 7 because we were preparing for 8 coming up in the whenever that came out. So we had that one, and we had like Dino Crisis, and I can't remember what the other one we did that year was. Then we did like the original. At one point we did the original, and we did like the 2 remake, and we did the 3 original, and then we did like the alternative of that. We did like the 1 remake and the original 2, and then 3 remake. That was last year, I think. So I think we just have recently decided to just do it in the order that they came out. And I think maybe at first I didn't realize that you'd never played it. Yeah, that was the first year. It was that because we did that one in co-op as well, didn't we? So I think we did 7, 5, and Dino Crisis the first year, and then went back to being straight laced. Yeah, it might have been, or it might have been the year. Yeah, I can't remember when we did that.
Did some drop kicks.
There must have been 1 year where we started in like June and went crazy and did it for like 3 months.
Yeah, we must have. And there was a period where we were doing have we always sort of done a game of Fortnite? I feel like we started off at quite a clip in our first year. Maybe a game of Fortnite is probably what we're averaging.
Well, it was, and we were still doing basically entirely game-long pods, yeah. I don't know how we managed that. We can't even manage like a top 10 every fortnight these days, but that's just life, innit?
Just life. Before we dive into Resident Evil, which, again, I get probably better dive in sooner than later, because this is going to maybe be a longer one, given how much you know about this.
I don't know.
You don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I
think we're going to play this one a little bit less like binary than the Code Veronica one, because we've already done the remake pod. We've already done a lot of that stuff before, and we've also talked about the development of this enough. No one needs to hear me say that it was supposed to, turn into Devil May Cry for a bit, and then they redid the whole thing. No one needs to hear any of that again, or at least not to any great detail.
What have you been playing that isn't Resident Evil 4 of late?
I have just beaten the other day Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which was pretty fucking hard. I can't remember where I read. Yeah, the 2D one. I can't remember where I read it recently. I think it might have been Edge. It was either Edge or PC Gamer, where they said that it was too easy and that you have to play it on hard mode to get the true Ninja Gaiden. And I was like banging my head against almost every boss in that game, thinking, what fucking bravado-laden bastard wrote that review, trying to show off his big knob. Shut up. So yeah, that was a very tight, nice and short action, side-scrolling hack and slash game in the style of the older ones. I assume I've never really played the old original Ninja Gaidens, just the 3D ones, but I really did get some good fun out of that one, but also a lot of frustration because of how difficult it was. I then kind of after I finished it, I had a quick go on the Shinobi demo for the new one that's coming out very soon, I think. And that one plays quite a lot different to it. It's got a beautiful art style. Yeah. Oh, have you? What are they? What's it getting?
Reviews or previews, I think. Let me have a double check. I'm sure I saw something on Eurogamer.
It might be reviews because it is quite soon.
I'm sure I saw. Did I see it? Maybe I saw it on. So it's not on Eurogamer. PC Gamer. Was that be where I saw it? Give me a sec. I'm going to find this now. The Guardian.
Oh,
no,
okay.
No, it wasn't on The Guardian. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just. You're good at editing.
Well, that's what it's there for.
Right, so we're back to Kirby and VGC. It won't be that. Eurogamer reviews is in here. No, we're back to Mafia and it's not there. Where did I see this? I wonder if I saw it on This Week in Video Games. Reviews. I did. Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Is this it?
Yes.
This Week in Video Games. I don't know if they do scores. Let's have a quick.
Oh yeah, there's loads of reviews out now. What did Ninja Gaiden give it? What? What did IGN give it? IGN gave it 8.
I just pulled that out of my arse.
What did Metro.co.uk give it? 4.
This Week in Video Games, like the last paragraph, this game is a masterful blend of old and new. The entertaining camp action story is presented with a slick art style. The banging soundtrack features a mixed orchestration of traditional Japanese instrumentation with modern heavy metal and electro, and the design fuses fast-paced retro stage formats with modern Metroidvania. Its origins may be rooted in the arcades of old, but Shinobi Art of Vengeance is as fluid and stylish as the best contemporary action games. Excellent.
I do think that it probably will be better than Ninja Gaiden Ragebound when it's all is said and done. I think the art style in that game is just gorgeous. It's almost so good, like painted backgrounds and stuff. It's so cool. The combat is a lot more not nuanced but fleshed out. The combat in Ninja Gaiden is basically just this one button and for a sword and one button for your kunai, and there's not really much more to it than that. It's just focused on the difficulty and the platforming, and that's kind of it.
Is this the first?
One flows fast.
There was like a bunch of sort of old Sega classics that got announced all at the same time, and is this the first of those that have come out? There was Crazy Taxi, there was Shinobi, there was that one where you're a dwarf, I think. You got an axe.
Golden Axe.
That's it. I was going to say dwarf with an axe, yeah. And then there was something else. A couple more, was there? Did they do
Jet Set Radio.
I want to say Jet Set Radio.
I can't remember what the other one was.
Yeah, this is the first of those.
First and seemingly the only one that's had any progression since they announced it, because the rest of them have just disappeared. Nothing at Gamescom, as well as I can remember. There's nothing Sega at all from that.
Do you think
other than probably the Sonic Crossworlds?
Do you think the publishers are going to have presence of mind enough to sort of shit themselves and maybe rethink what they were doing with Crazy Taxi? Because it seemed like they were.
I hope so.
Into a live service game, didn't it?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I really hope they rethink that one, because
the bottom as well.
Don't need to
falling out of that.
Yeah, and I don't think Sega had anything to do directly with it, but apparently that House of the Dead 2 remake is dog shite.
I saw that on
G-Man.
It looked real bad. Yeah. Real bad.
Yeah, the first one was really bad as well. I don't know why they're bothering. They're bringing these games out on Switch, and then they're not really fully utilizing the fact that you've got a remote, like a Wii remote in your hand. I really don't get it.
Yeah, it's weird.
What a pointless waste of everybody's time. So yeah, I played Ninja Gaiden. Played a bit of the Shinobi demo. I've dabbled in some other little things here and there, like started a bit of Heretic from that, the Night Dive remasters of the Heretic and Hexen. And then when I was on holiday, I took my PS Vita with me.
Yes,
because Yes, because that was on the ferry when I wanted to play Ghost Squad, because there was a Ghost Squad arcade machine on the ferry on the way to Belgium, and I got very excited by that, and then ran over to it, and the screen was off, and then I fucking ended up on the same ferry on the way back, and it was the same broken machine. So yeah, I went and played my Vita there, and I played started playing Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, which is I think a PSP remake of the PS1 game, and felt it was a little slow to start and didn't think I was going to get enough gaming time to play that much of it. So I then switched to playing Valkyria Chronicles 2, which is again a PSP exclusive, because I really like the fourth one, and the other two are PSP games. And Jesus Christ, like, that game is populated by effectively like school children, because you're part of like this they're probably a bit older than that. They might be university age, but they're supposedly in some kind of academy to join this army. And as a result, the dialogue is just so fucking pithy and annoying. I just cannot get over how dumb and childish every dialogue interaction in that game is. The game itself plays absolutely fine. It's classic Valkyria Chronicles shit. You assign your units where you want to start them, and off you go running around and shooting guns with them.
The time I played that on something, probably Xbox, was it? Or PS?
Might have been PS5. Yeah, it might have been PlayStation.
I played a good chunk of that, and I enjoyed what I played of it. I just sort of burnt myself out on it.
Yeah, I did. Well, the first one very much more than the fourth one from my memory. The first one was really stupid with like enemies that have magical powers, and then it just becomes a bit broken and overly frustrating because you're no longer just fighting against other soldiers. It's like insta kill dickheads who can fly around and shoot giant lasers at you. So I hope the second one doesn't do that. But I don't know when I'm next going to pick up my PlayStation Vita, because I also took with me my copy. I think it was by Switch Player, but I think they're now called Ninsight. It's like an independent Nintendo mag producing bunch of lads, and they did like a little magazine of I think it's the top 30 Game Boy Advance games.
Oh, cool.
Do I have it here?
Wait, is it Japanese?
Yes. Oh, 40. 40, there we go. The 40 best GBA games.
I've just Googled Ninsight, and I've just got nothing but Japanese writing on my screen now. Is that?
Oh, it's probably Ninty Media then. Maybe you want to look at that. So I was reading through this lovely little magazine. For those not watching the video, I'm holding it up right now. And that got me a real hankering to play Game Boy Advance.
Good man.
So that little handheld you got me...
It should play GBA games, does it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. But I can't get some of the buttons to do what it says to do, so I don't know how to do save states or anything like that. So I think that one's going to stay more as like a pick up and play SNES/Mega Drive thing. Yeah. One that I can give to Cassie as well to have a play on when she gets a bit older.
I wonder if the screen's better on... The screen's not maybe great for a GBA game either, because the GBA's got a wider screen, doesn't it? Whereas that's very much a Game Boy.
This man understands what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen, which is why I went and bought myself from eBay for £50 a PAL Kiddie V10, which has the Game Boy Advance.
I'm in the market for
style screen.
Some stuff like this.
So that one I saw a review of, and the guy basically said, look, mate, if you're keeping this directly for GBA, it's the best GBA emulation handheld there is. And for like under 50 quid, I bought it off of eBay, and then the listing said that there was 10 available, so I bought one, and then they cancelled it today. And I messaged them like, why'd you cancel it? I really want this, and you said you had loads of them, so do I have to buy a different model? What's going on? And then they didn't come back to me, so I just bought it from somewhere else and gave them negative feedback. Yeah. It's POWKIDDY.
I found it. I think I've said this to you before, and I fully realise this is just David in wasting money mode. However, because these are so cheap, I don't feel too bad about the idea. Like, this one seems to be $40. Is that right?
I can send you where I got it from if you want.
Yeah, please.
Because I don't hate the idea of having like a dedicated handheld for old handhelds.
So I was like, yeah, that's what you knew exactly where I was going with that. Is going right. I'm going to get a GBA handheld, and then I'll just buy that because it's cheap, and then download all the GBA games. And I'm like, if I decide
It'll come with them all on it.
Yeah, so if I'm in the mood to play a GBA game, that's my handheld. Just like I think I started doing it with PC controllers as well, like slowly buying like I've got a Saturn controller and stuff like that. So like kind of like I just want to have the right controller when I'm playing those games. But yeah, so
I'm totally with you. And you know what? The one game that made me actually pull the trigger on that, which isn't even in this top 40 thing. Which, by the way, David, if you can get a hold of it, this is a great read.
I've got it.
Especially if you're going to buy that. Especially if you're going to buy that handheld.
If they're still in stock. Oh, Game Boy Advance available now. Yeah. Okay. There.
Yes, it's a great read. That is. So the game that made me actually pull the trigger was Onimusha Tactics, because Onimusha has a tactics turn-based RPG on the Game Boy Advance. It's never come out anywhere else, and I really want to play it. Excellent. So that might be the first game I play on it, because I like Onimusha. I also really want to play that Astro Boy game that was developed by Treasure. It's supposed to be like an amazing like action platformer game that's like again stuck on the GBA forever. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. What about you?
Pretty good.
I know you've been. Do you like Outer Worlds yet?
Still undecided. I'm starting to approach the point where I am beyond where I got to the first time I tried to play this game. So I'm hoping I will start to sort of find my feet with it a little bit. I actually think also I was giving it less credit than it deserves. Like I was treating it like an old Fallout game. I was just like running up, speaking to people, and then running to the next place, speaking to people, when actually like solving some of the bigger quest lines, there's a bit of nuance to it. So like in a lot of the games, even like the more complicated Fallout ones, for example, would be like, do you want to do this or do you want to do this? And I was kind of like, oh, it'll be just complete it, get your XP, or it'll do the odd choose which side you want to go on. But even when you choose a side, there's often nuance within that choice as well. So like fast forward if you don't want to spoilers for Outer Worlds, but the very first sort of big mission when you go into that area, it's like the canned tuna factory, and you speak to you either, to get the thing that will make your ship work, you either pull it from like the town, or you pull it from this like sort of town that is sprouted up of people that have left the company town. And I'm like, well, the town's obviously bad because it's just a big corporation, but then when you start speaking to the old lady, she's a bit of a cow as well, and she's like, she tries to manipulate you by like having a go at the girl that's with you, sort of like blaming the corporation on her dad dying and stuff like that to try and make you do stuff. And then if you don't do what she says, she starts calling you a snake and things like that, and having a go at you. She's like, oh, you're a bit of a bitch as well. So now I was reading like the guide just to sort of get an idea of what's what. And what I ended up doing was, because I was like, obviously I feel like the good, in quotation marks, thing to do here is to take away the power from the corporation and let this other town sprout up. What I did is I took the power from the old lady, and then you can go and depose the head of the corporation guy. And I was like, oh, this is a whole thing that I didn't think was possible in this game. So, you know what I mean? There's just I'm not saying it's like breaking new ground, because it's quite an old game now, but that's just a layer of depth that I wasn't expecting. So you can sort of get the a good ending by doing something that you wouldn't necessarily expect. But yeah, I was just finding some of the characters a little bit exhausting. Like the vicar is just you're a vicar, but you're actually a bad guy. You're clearly lying to me, and something else is going on here. You're like some sort of thief that's hiding and posing as a vicar. I don't know, something like that. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm finding you annoying. And that girl, and I've dumped her from my party, so she's not annoying me anymore. That just has this sort of romance with that girl on the first ship you go to, and she just keeps telling you that she wants to have a girlfriend but doesn't want to have sex. And I'm just like, I don't care. I just don't care about this. This is stupid.
Yeah, that was lame. I remember I played that game corporate as fuck. I tried to be like as much of a dickhead as possible. I love the fact that you can grass up that scientist right at the beginning of the game as well.
And what happens? Because I was tempted to see.
I can't remember. It doesn't end the game. I just think I can't remember what actually happens. But if I was to ever play it again, I would do that. I think he's okay though. I think generally by the end, he's all right.
And then so I kind of got myself, and because I wasn't appreciating the depth of the missions, I got myself into a bit of a a hole that I was like, it was around about the time I was texting you. I was like, I don't know if I can be bothered to get out of this. So basically, there's the next part. You've got to go and speak to this old lady because you need like a key that will let you land on a specific part of a planet. So you can either so you go and speak to this lady to get, and she's like the, I don't know, she like the black market head, and she's like, oh, if you go and do these missions for you, and she gives you 3 things to do. And I inadvertently like messed up 2 of them. So there's one you've got to go in, and there's a lady that's like the corporation. This lady's like, this thief has stole the corporation's research, and I kind of wasn't paying attention. So I was like, oh, just keep it. I don't care. And then it wasn't until after she'd left, and I was like laughing at the guys whose research that I'd just given to a thief, that I was like, oh no, I needed that. So and then I messed up the next one by like giving it something to someone. So then I hadn't done 2 of the 3, and then I did the 3rd one, and then I went back to her, but it's not enough for her to give me the key. So the game wants me to buy the key from her. But I hadn't been noticing that when you upgrade your weapons, it costs money as well as parts. So I'd just been spending money left and right, and I had all these souped up weapons, and I had done literally like every side quest I could find, and like I had just been running about levels, just stealing everything I could find, and I had like £7,000, 7,000 credits, and I did 10,000. I was like, I can't get enough money to do this. And then the other option you get is you can sort of basically try and do it on foot, but it's like super dangerous, and like you shoot an enemy and it does no damage. And I was like, right, I don't know what to do here because I'm doing no damage. So I ended up just landing on the planet and just legging it to the checkpoint across the planet, just not engaging with any of the enemies. My teammates were always down and injured, but I was just booking it past them, not caring.
You're on your own.
Yeah. And then I eventually got there, and I did it, and I got around it, and I started making progress again. So I feel a bit better about it, but it's taken me much longer than I care to admit that I need to pay attention to what's happening, because it's going to make me make decisions, and I can easily mess them up and put myself in places I don't want to be. I think that's the lesson learned. So
yeah, well, good in time for the second one, so that's good.
Yeah, so yeah, I think I'm going to stick with it a bit longer. I'm not like,
it's not very long.
Oh yeah, it's quite short for one of those RPGs. So
yeah,
I think I'm just going to carry on playing it. And then just see, hopefully get through it so that I'm sort of ready for the next one. I'm not like champing at the bit to play it, but I'm also having perfectly good fun when I am playing it. Like the shooting mechanics are decent.
For those developers in that type of a game, absolutely, surprisingly good.
So don't like many of the characters, but sort of interacting in the world is better. And now that I've sort of taken, I don't know what I was thinking. Normally I'm not that slow. Like there's usually something I miss. Like that time I completed The Witcher 3 without upgrading any of my swords.
Absolute hard mode.
Yeah. But I just wasn't picking up on it. But I think I'm picking up what it's putting down now. So
I do worry that based off of how Avowed came across, that their character writing is probably not going to get any better for Outer Worlds 2. But
yeah, that's a problem.
I'll give it the benefit of doubt for now.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, as I trudged through Avowed, so this seems to be better.
Oh yeah,
Avowed,
you did.
So maybe I should just get over myself and play some Outer Worlds.
Maybe. Anything else?
No, the only other sort of video game thing I've been doing is I've been making a point of taking a note of the Game Pass games that I've been playing this year, so that when I get to the end of the year, I want to see if I've made my money. Because I saw that, did you see that news story? It was like Game Pass players don't actually play any more games. And I'm not bothered about playing any more games because I already play a lot of games, but I want to know that I'm getting my money's worth of the games. And I'm not sure I have so far. And even if I have, I've spent time playing games that I'm not particularly bothered about. Like by the last time we recorded this podcast, I've forgotten what the game's called, so that's why I wasn't mentioning it. But there's like a game that came out in Game Pass where you're just this girl that rides a bike around, sort of completing missions. And it's just like this you upgrade the bike. It's quite funny. You sort of you go around racing other bikers, and they've all got a theme. And then you beat them, and then you get their upgrade, and then you sort of have to collect the upgrades to let you through the next portals into the next area. It's sort of like open world Tony Hawk Light, but on a bike, and you just race.
Right.
Where I'm going with that is anyway, I played through it and it was fine, but like, is my life better for having played that game? The answer is no. So like, like if I didn't have Game Pass, I wouldn't have played that. Am I missing anything? No, not really. So yeah, that's basically what I've been up to gaming wise at the moment.
Well, yeah, but when we do this thing with Kelsey playing the new Gears, at least you haven't had to pay for that.
Yeah, exactly. Be playing. I am sort of, yeah. I'm actively resisting it, but I want to see it on PlayStation, kind of just to have the novelty of it and just see what the difference is.
Yeah, if it wasn't something I've already paid a subscription to get access to, then I'd be right with you. But yeah. I'm up for playing multiplayer on that. I haven't played Gears multiplayer in years.
No, never.
Probably get absolutely battered, but I'm definitely up for that.
Right. Will we talk about some?
Yeah. What's some of this bad boy?
Hell yeah.
Or this bad boy. Boy.
See, while we're at this, I'm going to also open up Vinted and see if they've got a copy of Resident Evil 4, because I realised today I don't own a copy of Resident Evil 4 on anything.
Yeah, so I have the original GameCube, the PS2, and the Wii, PS2 Special Edition. Sorry, and the
is the
Wii
GameCube
edition.
Like the edition? Is that what you would sort of?
Well, if you're going to play it on actual physical media, probably that, or the Wii one if you want to play Waggly Wag, but you probably don't. So obviously, always worth remembering that the GameCube versions and subsequently the Wii version, and it's like riff on it, box art is probably has the biggest disparity in box art quality between it and the US version. The US version box art for Resi 4 is shite. I cannot believe they okayed that. Whether they thought that their market wouldn't accept subtlety the way that ours does, with just like the sort of foreboding trees with the red sky behind it and a red like opening and chainsaw bloke in the middle, I don't know. But if you Google Resident Evil 4 right now and look at the box art they've got for that, you will see something awful.
The Resistance Follow Man 3 is the one I always remember. Like Britain or the UK got an Ollie Moss front cover, whereas America just got default Army Man as their game cover.
That's basically what we're looking at here.
That GameCube one's great.
Yeah, actually, we had basically a piece of art good, right? Versus the Wii one's good too, but yeah, the American version is just so banal.
The Wii one's only £4. The PS2 one's £10. I don't see the GameCube one anywhere. Oh, PS2, no, it's platinum.
The GameCube one's going to be your most expensive version.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I would have thought so.
I get the Wii one.
Yeah, because although your Wii U doesn't actually read discs, does it? So that would be a problem.
No. PS2 Biohazard 4. What would that be?
Just the Japanese version.
The Japanese one's £15. It's not a great cover. It's not a good cover.
Well, the Japanese version?
Yeah, this one I'm looking at.
Is it the shitty one with Leon on it again?
Leon
and everyone's behind him.
Yeah, Ada and I don't know, that girl that's annoying.
Oh, we'll get onto her. Don't worry, mate.
Well, so far we're into this podcast for 30 minutes and I've got myself on the hook for a Game Boy Advance book, a Palkia V10 and a copy of Resident Evil 4 on
excellent
console as yet.
Well, I read through in the car on the way to the ferry. I read some of that on magazine issue 2.
Oh, I've still got it sitting there because I'm drowning in magazines at the moment.
Oh yeah, me too.
Good.
The first part of this, which is Keith Stewart, and I'm not familiar with the man's work, but I'm going to try
this time, right? Like Keza McDonald and stuff was in the first one. That she's not in this one. I know.
Well, I'm pretty sure Christian Donlan's back again. Okay. Although, as much as I like that man, his one was quite dull, a little bit too anecdotal for me. But this Keith Stewart, who I'm going to look up, he did a whole bit on 90s horror games. And so I was reading that and he got me on the hook for a fucking ton of shit. I bought a game. I think I bought a game on Steam called Hollow Body, I think.
Oh, I've been wanting to play that. Yeah.
There you go. You own it now, buddy.
Because I keep thinking, I've been thinking about like horror games when it comes to Halloween. And I was like, oh, that's potential.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Could be a definite now.
Hollow Body looks good. Yeah,
does look very good.
Sort of, it's the one that's Silent Hillish, right?
Yeah, but it's still like tank controls. I think tank controls might not be tank controls, but it's fixed camera angles anyway. There's another one that's quite similar to that, I think, and I can't remember what that was called. That's more like PlayStation 1-y.
Yeah, there is another one that's PlayStation 1-y, that Hollow Body, and if you look at images, you get people doing bloody sit-ups. Excellent. Hollow Body. Oh, it's one word, isn't it? Yeah, there is a PS2 looking or PS1 looking one that's sort of on my wish list as well for Steam. I wonder if I can open up Steam with it.
I bet you it's the same one that I've got on there as well.
Making this PC chug. Or
I also wish listed Forbidden Solitaire, which is like an FMV horror game with, I guess, the game of Solitaire as its backbone. So that sounded quite interesting.
Yeah, it does. If you find it before me, you may as well just say it, because I've got 69 games on my Steam wish list. So that's kind of
I can get it off my Steam wish list way quicker than that. Yeah. Let's get that open. Hold on. What else was I going to say? Oh, they gave a lot of kudos to Crow Country in that one. So that was nice to see.
That was an absolute.
Our friends, the developers of Crow Country, who obviously liked this podcast and retweeted it or whatever it was they said, they listened to it, didn't they? They were really They really enjoyed what we said about that game because it deserved it.
Last year.
Oh yeah, Crow Country was fantastic. Right, hold on.
Yeah, this Hollow Body game was great. This is one of the ones.
I could never find fucking wish list anywhere. It's so annoying. There we go. It's called Heartworm. That's what it's called.
EA Heart. Oh, no, was this it? That's not immediately. Oh my god. Maybe this was it. It sometimes looks like it, sometimes doesn't. Yeah, that's an interesting looking one. I need to see if that's any good. Watch some videos on that.
Yeah. Anyway, we're here to talk about Resi 4, aren't we?
Hell yeah, we are.
Released, of course. Well, released in North America first on the 11th of January in 2005. It came out in the UK on the 18th of March 2005, the day before my birthday. What an annoying thing to happen where I can't ask for it as for a present. Oh no, I can, but I might not get it on that day. I have to wait a day or two. On the PS2, so initially, of course, it was going to be a GameCube exclusive, according to old Shinji Mikami, who then later apologized when they had no choice but to port it to the PS2 due to apparently shareholder pressure. Which, I mean, what else is it going to be? Yeah. Give us more money, you pricks. What are you playing at? So that came out. I mean, it didn't even last as a GameCube exclusive for more than a year. It was out by October, the 25th, 2005, and then it came to Windows in 2007, and of course, many other versions. Wii, 360, but whatever. It's on a Switch. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere. I tried to play this almost everywhere. I started by playing some of it on the Switch when I was on the first holiday I had this year. But I was always sort of planning to do that as a bit of a laugh because I started playing that in New Game Plus, so I had all my weapons. Because I really want to get the Chicago typewriter on that game because I don't think I've ever unlocked it. And if I have unlocked it, it'll be on the GameCube version, on the disc, on my memory card. And I really don't.
Does it come with unlimited
figuring all that out? Maybe, yeah. I can't quite remember. It's like a Tommy gun, though, isn't it? Basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I started with that. Then I came back and got into the RE4 HD project on the PC version. I bought the PC Ultimate HD edition or whatever it is.
That, right?
Yeah, that cost me like £3, and I was really excited for that. And I got it all installed after having to use a fucking torrent client, like BitTorrent, to download it because that seems to be the only way you can get it. And it took like an entire day to download. And then when I loaded that up, it was okay, but I had some issues with like slowdown. Basically, every time I opened the map or the inventory screen, it would go basically like 3 frames a second, and then it would load out, and there'd be like jittering as I came back into the gameplay. So then I thought, right, fuck it then. I'll play the Dolphin version on the Wii, and that was just terrible. It ran like arse. So I thought, fuck it then. Right, okay, I've got the Wii U hooked up. I'll put the Wii version in the Wii U and I'll play it that way. And that was okay for a while, but it looks disgusting. It's ugly, yeah. Even with the upscaling, which I don't think even really exists on this one, it runs at like 30 FPS. It was just fucking horrible. So then I looked up online and found that there's also like a Resident Evil 4 HD project for the Wii version on Dolphin, and it comes with like, they tell you which specific version of Dolphin to get. So I got that one sorted. It looked perfectly fine, but was locked to 30 frames a second. And then I started to
stomach that, can you?
No, I can't. I was enjoying it for a while, and then I got to a point where the waggly controls were starting to piss me off again, especially for like the numerous QTEs in this game. So then I think I went around some Reddit forums and had like a look at see if anybody could figure out why the map was so slow on the PC version. And I don't know if I actually found a definitive answer, but basically somebody mentioned and I can't even remember what it's called now, but there's some kind of thing you can turn on in like the tweaks menu to do with some kind of Vulkan processor thing. I don't remember what it was called now, but Vulkan's part of the wording.
This sounds like something I messed about with my Steam Deck that's caused me endless hangovers.
Yeah. I think it works quite nicely with AMD stuff, which is what I have in my PC. And I enabled that and fucking boom, fixed it. I couldn't believe
really?
it.
Okay.
The only problem I had is that sometimes the character models and parts of the background, when you first loaded up a new area, would load in like 1 or 2 seconds after everything else. So sometimes Leon would be like invisible and just be a floating gun for like 2 seconds, and it would like load in all of his clothes. And I thought, fuck this. I've tried like 7 versions of this game now. I will accept this compromise because the game on the HD project looks unbelievable. And it plays amazing.
It's like, again, one of the many highlights of us doing this podcast. Yeah, it was so good. 3 especially just sticks in my head.
Yeah, that's a game that really comes to life with good graphics for looking at Nemesis and all that kind of stuff. So yes, that is how I played this version. You, I believe, played it on the PS4 5.
PS4 5, yeah, the PS4 version on the PS5. That old complicated noodle.
Yeah, which is the PS3 HD version, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
They just re-released it again. Yeah,
perfectly fine.
Yeah, because I have that version on my Xbox. So Series X, I have the 360 version, and I mean it runs nicer.
Yep,
and it looks a bit sharper. So that's probably like the least fuckiest good way to play the game.
The probably best way without subjecting your balls to being closed in a vice like you did.
Exactly, yeah. It's like allowing BitTorrent to run on your computer. Yes.
Yeah. It's a cool version of that game. I for some reason thought I already owned this on Xbox, but I apparently don't.
I can't believe you didn't. Yeah, I was very shocked by that.
On my PlayStation, I had it. So, and I'd played it for like 26 minutes apparently already. So, no idea when that happened.
To be pushing 40 and have never played this game. I'm glad I fixed that for you.
Given how much I like games, it's a whacking great hole. Although I've got a few stinking holes in my sort of repertoire of video games I should have played but haven't.
I'm sure we all do, right?
Half-Life, any Half-Life game is probably the big
one. Yeah. Well, by the way, I also bought Black Mesa, so you own that as well, which is like
the way you play that, right? That's like
apparently,
sort of a remake. So that's the one I've been sort of, because it runs on Steam.
Just sit quietly by yourself, and I'll just buy everything that you want. You don't even need to tell me you want it. It'll just show up one day. So that, I mean, well, I guess like the way that the game came about, I'd been a Resident Evil fan for a long time before 4, not a long time, but a relatively, probably like about 5-6 years by this point. After I met my friend Chris, and
did it feel controversial at the time? Like in the way that like Link, what's it, Zelda? What is it called? The one that we played and loved,
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
Absolutely not. No.
because it's quite different, right, from previous. Well, I've played them,
Yeah.
so like I know it's extremely different from 1 and 2, and it's sort of got art. 3, you can sort of see the beginnings of its move towards action, but this one really ratchets it up, as far as I can tell.
Well, it does, and it's interesting to kind of chart, which we now can do, having played all these games. Like chart the kind of evolution and then stagnation of Resident Evil, and then the super like jump, and then the fucking pitfall. So like, as you just said there, Resi 3, which was of course Resident Evil 1.9 for a while before that became the official third version, that, as David said, sort of ramped up the action, gave you a few more moves to your arsenal, and also introduced this, you know, the Nemesis kind of this split decision system.
Still,
then Code Veronica,
right? Still,
it was still very much a PS1 Resi game,
like static camera angles.
You can dodge. Yeah, exactly. And then Code Veronica, of course, as we discussed in the previous episode to this one, that then brought a fresh level of cinematic presentation. It freshened the camera angles up a little bit. They became these sort of moving ones to kind of take something from Silent Hill, which had those itself, and the general like attitude of the game being a lot more camp and silly and having over the top characters with a bigger focus on the voice acting quality. Then the GameCube comes around, and this is when Mikami starts to get all lovey with Nintendo for some reason, despite the fact that clearly he wasn't making as much money as he could have done out of any of it. They remake Resident Evil 1 on the GameCube, which was mind-blowing. It's visually incredible. It's such a great update on a game that probably nobody really wanted to go back and play at that point. I mean, now people do, but at that period in time, we wanted shinier, new, you know, sharper graphics.
Yeah.
Then Zero came along, looked amazing, but that was definitely the moment where you were seeing 7 scores and you were seeing people start to finally get fed up of the formula of Resident Evil. I think the changes, we discussed this on that episode, the changes that they tried to put into that game, most notably the lack of item boxes, where it's like, just drop it on the floor, mate. Drop it anywhere you want.
Yeah.
It did not work.
No.
The retconning in the story we didn't like as well. You know, the ending of the game going into Resident Evil 1, where suddenly Rebecca forgets absolutely everything she's just murdered and becomes a crying little whingy baby in the corner again for some reason. That was the first one where people kind of said, like, this something needs to change here. And of course, Resident Evil 4, weirdly, not development hell, but nowhere near a smooth development for such a, you know, an iconic, legendary game. I think there was I've got a retro gamer here somewhere from, I can't remember what year it's even from now. They've got like a cool little timeline of it. So they suggest that Capcom officially like revealed Resident Evil 4 in November 2002. This was one of the GameCube 5 or the Capcom 5 that were the exclusive titles for the GameCube, 2 of which I don't think even got made. Then in May 2003, we got this trailer where it had this Hook guy in it, and it's like, they call it the hallucination build. And that was at E3. And that was like Leon in a very blue tinted castle, spooky kind of ghosty shit going on there. Then by a few months later, Shinji Mikami didn't like it. He took over as director, completely like scrapped it, went for a new build of the game. So in January 2004, we got a good look at the new version where you got to see the village segment from the beginning, and there was a demo that was put out, and that is when the hype really like skyrocketed. This looked like nothing else. It looked so fresh.
Yeah.
It looked so scary. It looked so visceral, for want of a better word that we keep always using. And then, of course, by November 2004, they announced and apologized that it was going to come to the PlayStation 2 as well as the GameCube. And then, yeah, the rest is history. So I remember being extremely, like, probably more excited for this game than anything that had ever come out beforehand. You know, Zelda games would always get me excited, but I kind of knew what to expect after Ocarina of Time. This was like ripping up the rule books so much that I was desperate to get this. And I know my friend Simon was as well. I remember he He always reminds me of how he was like reading the instruction manual on his run home from First Compute in St Neots Town Centre as he ran over the bridge, like reading the manual because couldn't wait to get it home. We were all like me, Chris, and Simon were all so buzzing for this game. There was no controversy as far as we were concerned. Like you can scrap the old method. We're fine. We can go back and play those, but this looks like something really revolutionary, and there's no denying that that's what it was. You must have been aware of the game and the reaction to it, but I guess as you weren't as deep into Resident Evil historically, maybe I don't know what were you feeling at the time. Do you remember?
So what came out in 2005? So
yeah,
I honestly think this game mostly passed me by because I wasn't engaging with Nintendo during this period of time.
Of course, yeah,
at all. And that must be around about 2006 would be Xbox 360.
There's also that.
So I was probably sitting at college speaking to on day release from my apprenticeship, sitting at college speaking to my mates in between reading magazines that were talking about things like BioShock coming up.
Yeah.
So I think this game just completely passed me by because, like I say, I wasn't engaging I wasn't engaging with Nintendo, and you said it went to PS2, right? I think by that point I ditched my PS2 in favor of an Xbox, and I was playing Halo. Mm-hmm. So this game just unfortunately was not at a period of time where I was living the multi-console life. So it just never came onto my life. It briefly sort of came onto my radar when the Wii version came out, and I played a little bit of that because Tony this is where Tony and his Wii porn comes in, the legendary A Winner's U story. And I played it for a little bit with that, and then I think I got distracted by probably something like
something in HD,
something Mario, or something in HD. Red Dead Redemption, I think I was playing during that period as well. So there was just always something else, I guess, to cut a long story short, that I was playing. So
it makes
somehow sense. Just passed me by entirely. I'm thinking back, like none of my friends were playing Nintendo. I'm thinking back to like even speaking at school, like to friends at school. There was one boy in our computing class that was playing GameCube, and we all had PS2s, and we used to make fun of him quite severely because he used to tell us how his GameCube was the best console in the world. I mean, it wasn't a bad console, so I maybe should have eaten my words a little bit back then. But yes, we used to just make fun of him.
I kind of miss that kind of mentality because I know that
about consoles.
My friend Simon, he was proper like ride or die Nintendo back then, and he definitely kind of riled me up to this like tribalistic view of it. And I remember he and I were both.
When you're a kid, it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're a kid or, 19, whatever. And I remember that he and I were both absolutely fuming when they announced this was coming to PS2 and it wasn't a GameCube exclusive anymore. We were like, how the fuck could they betray us? This was supposed to be our...
Like that, right?
This was like our get as Nintendo fans. Like, we've got Resi 4, though. Because I used to have arguments with one of my old girlfriends, like little brother who had a PS2, and I was like ragging on him, saying like how the loadings, because the little discs made the games load faster on GameCube, and fucking, it's actually more powerful than the PS2s. Yours has just got a DVD player in it and sold more because of fucking people's mums. I obviously now recognise the PS2 is a wonderful piece of machinery. But then, like the lack of exclusivity for this, and then, but the sort of joy at finding out that the PS2 version was compromised and not quite as good, I was just like, yeah, good.
Hell yeah.
Good. It was ours first.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because like probably my closest sort of analogy to this is like, I think probably deep down, if I'm completely honest, I'm just like, bearing in mind that this company doesn't exist anymore. But like when Xbox was Xbox, like I am a bit of an Xbox fan. So when Xbox are sort of changing, then my closest thing is when they're changing their sort of approach to platforms now, and everything's going to come out and everything. There is a bit of me that I'm fully aware it's irrational, but I'm just like, no, why are you doing this to me, Xbox? Why are you just leaving me high and dry? And then you look around and the best versions of the games are on PS5, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. But yeah.
There's got to be a Britishness to this, right? We like a bit of an underdog. We like kind of we don't want to just be glory hunters. I don't want to be a PlayStation. I've never really wanted to be a PlayStation fan.
That's a great point, because it was a negative. So like growing up, living in the northeast of Scotland, given that there are only really two good football teams in Scotland, there was like Rangers fans, Celtic fans, and then Aberdeen fans. And it, like, as an Aberdeen fan, it was a real negative if you were a Rangers fan and you weren't from Glasgow. You're just like, what are you?
Same as Man United, where I grew up.
True.
So yeah.
You're right. There's a bit of an underdog thing, and actually like supporting the good thing. You're like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. Don't get a PS2, mate. Come on, get an original Xbox. This is where the cool kids play.
Yeah, exactly.
Play Pro Evo.
I used to run about telling everyone it's basically a PC, but with a console box.
Yeah, it's got a hard drive, you fucking wieners. Take your memory cards and shove them up your arse with your Guitar Man, which is a game I actually really want to play. But yeah, and then if you look at like what Resi 4 then did, you had this new camera angle over the shoulder. You had the manual aiming with the laser sight. You had villagers instead of zombies. That potentially would have maybe been the bit where I thought, hold on a minute, is this Resi, lads? There's no zombies in it. Then the graphics as well, just like mind blowing. Like you'd never seen anything like Resi 4 when it came out. It's really taken advantage of the hardware at the end of its life cycle. Blowed everybody out blowed everything else out of the water in terms of how it looked. It had these more open style, like open level design rather than just corridors and things like that. It had the new inventory system where you're not using item boxes.
I was going to say no chests. In loot and save
You've got, and then they're adding on top of that, they've got upgrades, they've got the merchant, they've got all the treasures that you can find. Like this like ripped up what Resi was, like massively. It basically kept Herbs and Leon and the body horror elements to it and Ada, and that was practically it.
You know what? This is such a tiny thing, but I remember thinking when I bought my first map from the merchant and it showed you where all the sort of collectibles were, I was like, this actually feels very un-2005. Like normally it would be like...
It was very 2015.
Yeah, we're not telling you where they are. You've just got to go and find them all the hard way. Whereas games like, nah, you use some money to buy the map. This is where you go to get them. I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. And on top of like the really big stuff that the game added, it also added like loads of features that made it just like a shade cooler than anything else. Like... By this point, when you're thinking about going back to like Billy, Cohen, and Rebecca, they're still kind of they're kind of shambling movement. They're not, it didn't feel like an action game. It still felt very lodged in survival horror, their version of survival horror. But this one, you've got manual reloading. You've got like shooting thrown projectiles out of the air. Like that never gets boring. Shooting a fucking axe or a trowel from some farmer. You've got like melee attacks after you stun them. You've got the reactive damage where you can shoot them in the knees and they drop to their knees and you give them a fucking...
that was a big thing.
Belly-to-belly suplex.
That feels like it was really new for the time, right? Sort of reactive.
It still feels really good. I've played games that don't feel as reactive as that since then. Mm-hmm. And like Leon's like, he's like leaping over fences and jumping down ledges, and there's QTEs of you like diving out the way of boulders and stuff. Like it just, they added so many new facets to what this was that clearly they've never dropped since, and loads of games have adopted as well.
Is that why Chris Redfield punches a boulder? Is there a thing that Resident Evil got about boulders that I just haven't picked up on until now?
Maybe. I don't think any of us will ever really understand why that happened. It doesn't really make any sense. But I mean, who cannot love you? You cannot do anything but love that boulder punching thing. What do you think of the tone of Resident Evil 4? I mean, especially, if you can cast your mind back, well, I guess we'll probably touch on this again later on, maybe. You think about how the remake of this game definitely toned that down.
Yeah.
The acting, the sort of the camp to it, the attitude, the dialogue, the puns, the way Lewis is portrayed in this game is like very different to the remake. Like, do you like the tone? Do you prefer it to the sort of more stoic remake?
So
Or did you just think, no man, did you think it just looked old and a bit like cringe at this point?
I've got a few feelings about this actually. And I'm going to try and remember and get around them all. This game feels confident in a way that I think perhaps so. I guess to try and elaborate on what I mean by that is that, like, we've often spoke about in games about how you can do sort of tension and fear in multiple ways. Like that, I would say probably the Resident Evil 1 and 2 does tension and horror through fear and the foreboding of what's around this corner, whereas Resident Evil 4 and to a lesser extent 3 do horror and tension in a different way by throwing enemies at you, and they create fear because, oh god, here's a guy with a chainsaw running at me, I need to react right now to do something. It's not about I don't know what's around this corner, it's like I know exactly what's around this corner and it's running at me right now and I've got to deal with it quickly. And I think it does it very effectively, what it's trying to do. I think the voice acting it's very campy, but it's much better than the old. If we're talking exclusively OG Resident Evils right now, it's much better than certainly 1, because that's bad. But I'd say it's probably much better than 1, 2, and 3. But it keeps its campiness, and that's kind of what I mean by it's confident. It sort of knows what it is, but it just sort of really leans into it, and it's like, this is who I am as a game, and I'm just going to sort of wear it on my chest and be proud of it. Like the stuff where, like, when Lewis dies and he's like leaning over and goes shouting, Lewis! It's ridiculous, but it works somehow. Whereas, like, in my opinion, and take it with a pinch of salt, I would be thinking of like Resident Evil 1 would have campiness on that level, but it would just be silly and it would just be bad, and it would be entertaining because it's silly and bad. Whereas this is entertaining because it's sort of fun, and I feel like it means to be like that. Whereas I'm not convinced 1 and 2 necessarily did. Does that make sense? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think even the remake of 1 and probably 0, like neither of those games are really. I mean, 0 is just weird because it's got fucking James Marcus just being an opera singer on a hillside.
Yeah, that's odd. That is really odd. Just singing on a hill. It's one of my favorite takeaways from that game.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, Code Veronica is definitely like camp and silly, and like, again, another game really confident in what it's going for. That felt sort of like totally out of the blue for Resident Evil, whereas this felt like it was tying back to that game and sort of ignoring the fact that the remake of 1 and 0 kind of thought, oh no, let's make things a bit more serious. They were very much like trying to be survival horror games. This, maybe the leap to more of an action focus made them think like, well, fuck it, everyone needs to say action movie stuff. Leon needs to start being a total like belligerent badass and like giving shit talk to all the villains. Some of the stuff he says is just so dumb.
Oh, it's
no thanks, bro, to the little Salazar. And one of my favorite ones I always laugh at is when, I'm pretty sure Sadler's given it some shit when he's talking about how he's just killed Salazar, and Sadler's like, oh, you managed to kill my small-time subordinate. And then Leon just goes, Sadler, you're small time. Like, is that all you had?
Yeah.
Is that, like, even at the translation localized, that's what you got, is it? No, you're stupid. But I can't hate it. I think Salazar is hilarious. He's so shit when he says he's 20 years old and he looks like sort of Napoleon's like reanimated corpse, and everything Sadler does where he sounds like he's like constantly edging himself towards coming, just, oh yes, I'm going to put my sample into you. Yeah, and Luis as well when he starts talking about Ashley's looks like the president's daughter has been fitted with ballistics while he's looking at her chebs.
I actually did notice, I can't remember if I texted you about it. I think I didn't text you about it because I couldn't think of a term to describe it. So what better time than to muddle through this in a podcast? But like, so Metal Gear Solid does this as well. What is it, the intercom, where it's got both their faces up and they're chatting to each other? What is it about Japanese games, those intercoms, and just having sleazy moments? Because as soon as Leon pops up for the first time in that intercom with his handler, who just vanishes for half the game,
Yeah. Just gets hacked out of it.
He just started,
after telling you your helicopter's been shot. Sorry, your helicopter's shot down.
Oh, you're dead.
Hope I don't get hacked
anymore. Yeah, so he just instantly starts hitting on her, and I was just like, "This is so Metal Gear Solid." Like,
it really is. Yeah,
it just made me laugh. I was like, "This is what Japanese think cool is."
Yeah. Hey, Hunnigan, I've located the president's daughter. And what color underwear you got on today?
I did, and another thing I did notice: the game absolutely loves to give you a little pants shot of Ashley. Is it Ashley?
Yeah, but if you go under her, like if you go in the bits where you have to catch her because she can't climb down a ladder for some reason.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. Cannot climb down, just launches herself off.
Yeah, if you look up at her at a certain angle, she'll call you a pervert in that. And I'm pretty sure at one point I got shot down right next to her, and then obviously Leon couldn't help but do it. But she called him a pervert while he was like trying to drag himself back up from some sort of like axe to the face. Oh, you pervert!
There's the bit that kept getting me. I think it's the bit where you are actually controlling Ashley, perhaps, and you're running about, and the knight's armors are coming to life, try to swing at you, and it like you can you dodge out the way. She always dives backwards, legs akimbo, just to get. Like, oh, for God's sake!
Yeah, have you seen the alternate costume for her after you complete the game the first time?
No, what is it?
It's like they dress Leon up in his RPD Stars gear, which is great. Not Stars gear, you know what I mean? RPD uniform. And then for her, they just put her in like basically a prostitute's outfit. I don't. You'll have to look it up after this, but I don't understand where that's come from. It's really, really weird. I didn't realize this is a complete segue to nothing. I'm just going to briefly talk about extra costumes.
Segue for you.
Okay, good. I don't know where I read this. Oh, it must be in one of the most recent Retro Gamers because they were talking about Dino Crisis.
Probably about 5 months.
The Dino Crisis,
6 months of unread. Of those sitting on my bedside table.
I've got just a pile on my floor next to my bed as well. Apparently, I don't think we knew this at the time, and maybe we did say it, but in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, I don't know, I can't remember which version it is. It must be the PlayStation one, but you can dress her up, you can dress Jill up like the woman from Dino Crisis as an extra costume in that, which I didn't realise. That's awesome. Yeah. Love that.
Not the.
Cool. What's your?
You can dress the girl from Dino Crisis up like Bam Bam or whatever from.
Pebbles or whatever. Yeah,
Pebbles. That's it. And the other one is the one that sticks in my head is, and this is such a non sequitur that's not even that interesting. Is when you're speaking on that intercom, it's got the two faces, and under his handler's message, it's got incoming message or something like that. But incoming is 2 words, and I can't take my eyes off in space coming. It just winds me up every time I see it.
Yeah, I wonder if they meant that, because that's what Sadler's going to be doing as he's talking to you, as previously discussed.
Especially because he spends this whole time hitting on her and wisecracking. I'm just like,
and Leon as well. Yeah. I mean, Sadler's very phallic when that thing comes out from under his fucking robe, and like stabs Lewis in the back, and then goes like slithers back under his little skirt. What a big deviant that man is.
Very impressed how much the remake is almost missing out the boulders, I think, and missing out the statue chase. Like, it's a shot for shot remake, and it's still great. Interested to
I don't know why they dropped the statue. I mean, I know it's stupid.
It's so stupid.
That's what disappoints me about the remake, is because, come on, yes, your game is stupid.
It is stupid.
Own it.
Yeah, own it. Because I was watching a video of the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. Is it out tomorrow? Perhaps.
Yes, I think so.
And they were talking about how it's a very, very faithful remake. I'm impressed. I'm kind of here for it, to be honest. Like, just like modernizing and just having a faithful remake, because it's like the game doesn't need to be messed with. It's so good.
Certainly is, because that one is not. Or is that Konami? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's Konami, but what is Konami in 2025, right?
Well, yeah, it's not Kojima, so we're not going to get him having his sort of directorial privilege of changing what he wants. I know Mikami obviously was not working on the Resi 4 remake either, but clearly people at the company who have worked on Resident Evil were involved in that, so you can kind of understand then them taking more of an artistic license to modernize, as they call it.
Yes.
Right. So for next part of this, I wanted to talk about sort of in general, the pacing of this game, which is kind of relentless.
I had to take breaks. I found it exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely were suffering from like first play of this game syndrome where everything does need more time and thought and fear.
It was
I
found it stressful.
Yeah, for me this is just kind of like, I know it so well now that I'm just going to smash through it as quickly as I can, but there was a period in time where that village section was the scariest thing ever made. And there's a good
really, it scared the living bejesus out of me when I played that again.
Yeah, and that's one thing the remake did very, very well. Like I remember very much feeling terrified in that for how it was going to be slightly different and how it was going to hurt me and all over again. But I think the way that this game like is constantly throwing more crazy stuff at you, like taking you to new areas, even new areas within new areas, which I'll get to in a second. It felt unrivaled at the time of just like, man, this game just never stops. Like nothing is like dwelled upon for too long. None of your time is wasted. There are some down moments where you can, it will like sort of bring back easier enemies to deal with, or there'll be a bit of a puzzles to solve. Like it just feels like masterful in terms of the way that they've designed this game to go from start to finish without ever like dropping a beat, as far as I'm concerned anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'd agree. It does. It when it changes tone, it'll do a hard shift sometimes, but it
does.
It's quite refreshing a lot of the time when it does that.
Yeah, I guess because if you think about the village section, like you definitely don't expect to be later on like belly to belly suplexing weird monks while a little Napoleon bloke talks about his right hand in a castle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the start, yes, the village section, one of the most iconic openings there's ever been in games, certainly from a gameplay perspective, was a very heavy influence on Cliff Bleszinski. You've read his book, so you might be able to speak more to that than me, but he has said like that section of Resident Evil 4 was what made them realize that like action had to be the prime focus of Gears of War. I don't know if you can expand on that. If you can remember.
Unfortunately, no, I can't remember that at all. But I'm not surprised by that. And I'm also sort of pleasantly reminded that you're right. It does have a sort of Gears of War feel to it. You're right. In terms of the sort of action in the way that they do this. The other thing that this is a slight aside, but it's similar. And I did think I'd text you about this, is it made me realise that when I played Resident Evil 5, because Resident Evil 5 unusually was my sort of proper entry into the Resident Evil franchise. The beginning of Resident Evil 5 is just an attempt to emulate.
Yes, it is.
That first intro area. So they obviously knew that was iconic and amazing, and they just wanted to try and recreate that again, but less effectively. Yeah, well, most of the time you're going to be doing it with a friend, so it's all that game is less effective, really, as a result, but fun in a different way. So yeah, the village, the opening section just feels like if you go, every time you sort of run anywhere, it felt like every time you turn around, they're just there. Like you can hear them running after you. That's one thing that it probably happens more later on when you start fighting priests and things like that. There was a bit of I'm trying to swear less. A bit of F-ury when it would just sort of spawn enemies behind you when you weren't. Yeah, which I felt was slightly unfair.
Yeah, I think it does that on the island quite a lot as well.
It does that on the island, yeah. And there was a bit where I was standing sort of with my back to the wall, and I took a step forward, and then a priest spawned right behind me as I was doing.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember watching you play that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was dumb. I guess they have expected you to leave that room so you don't notice that they're spawning in a room that's closed, but
they made it too scary. I was backed up in a corner just waiting for them to come in.
That's actually the part of the game that I gave up on when I first played the Wii version, because I found that was just too much. That whole the sort of, I don't remember what that room is called, but it's like a big sort of long room with like 3 sections of bits of water around it. The bit where you have to do the sniping of Ashley turning those cranks, which he goes up to fucking phallic shit.
Tell you what, now you've mentioned Cliff Bleszinski, I need a good video game book to listen to, because I've started listening to the Good Game No Remake, which is written by Mike Drucker, who used to work at IGN and then went on to be like a SNL comedy skit writer and stuff like that. And it's
right.
I've been sitting listening to that, thinking, why am I listening to this man talk about Nintendo? Like he's just, I don't know. I don't have particularly any. I like him and he's funny. And when he was doing the IGN sort of live stuff that they did for a while, it was really, really good when he was the writer for it, and then it went downhill after he left. I just find myself wondering why I'm reading this, sort of listening to this, and I need a good, a good video game book. So if anyone's listening, give me some recommendations.
Yeah, because I started the Blizzard one, and then they were just talking about how great Blizzard was in the early days, and I thought, I'll get to the bit where you piss everyone off.
Businessy, I think. I think that's perhaps is given that like it's such an interesting time. Yeah, in my opinion, and maybe it just caught me in the wrong mood, but I think that's the worst of his 3 books.
I feel like I'm going to agree with that. Right, yeah, Village, opening section.
I'm just derailing this left and right.
No, it's all good. Love the opening bit. I love the ringing out of the chainsaw noise when you first hear that rev up. It's so good.
Yes.
So like just your spine tingles. It's just horrible. Which of course you can avoid if you don't go in the room where the shotgun is. He will not spawn, and you can just go in there at your leisure afterwards after they've all gone to play bingo. Which of course you find out in the.
You just run about and not go in there, like sort of do the same bit and not go in there, and he just doesn't come out.
Yeah, I just ran around and used the pistol for that whole bit. Well, I used the old tactic of shoot them in the leg, kick them, then knife them to try and save ammo. Which of course it's not easy to do in that bit because they are so relentless and there are so many of them. But yeah, you can completely avoid Chainsaw Man in that opening bit. Or, of course, you can do what they did on that speed run that I showed you and get a couple of grenades and somehow use your iframes climbing over a fence to just explode them all and kill them all in like 7 seconds. After you've done the main, like a lot of the villagey bits, we then get to the lake, which I think is probably one of the lowest points of the game. You fight the Del Lago boss.
It just took me a minute to figure out what was happening. I don't know. Again, it's probably just a David issue, but I just didn't really know what was going on. It sort of came up out of nowhere, and then I took a minute. Like the first time I died, I think I killed the boss second time round, but the first time I was like, I don't know what this game wants me to do, and then I realized you can move the boat to avoid stuff. It was all right. It was fine.
I've often found I feel like the collision detection in that bit is slightly unfair.
Sure.
Or there are times when that fish. I mean, I suppose that's technically quite realistic. If the fish had any sense of intelligence, it would pull you directly to a fucking tree in the middle of a lake so that you can't get out of the way of it. But when I'm playing a game and I can't get out of the way of it, and it feels like you've given me no chance to get out of the way of it, that's just frustrating. And I obviously don't have the weapons that I've built up and upgraded up to that point. I'm just throwing these ready-made harpoon things, and it always felt like there was a bit of a delay, which again I'm assuming is on purpose, of after the game had like shown you the fish try to grab him or bite him, when it like flips the boat round, sometimes the boat's in the wrong direction, so you have to wait for the boat to kind of flip round before you can then get the aiming up of the thing. And it never felt like he aimed. I would be holding like the aim button and it never felt like he did it straight away. So I'd have to sort of repeatedly press aim for him to get posed and ready. By the time I'm throwing one of the things, it's gone back under the water. So it felt like that whole bit is just a little bit too fiddly, and it can just like prolong itself for just repeating the same 3 things over and over again. And I think that's probably there's no probably, that is definitely the weakest boss in the game, that by a mile.
Hey, it's no boss in Resident Evil Code Veronica that just swims about.
Look, if we could just stand at the edge of the lake and wait for it to just swim near us and shoot it, I'd love it. But of course, if you do shoot the lake, he just game overs you because he comes out and bites you, as I made you do.
Yeah, that's very cool.
It is very cool. They do make up for it afterwards because they then. Sorry, go on. Did you have more to say about El Lago?
Not really. I sort of appreciate what you're saying, but I just because I got through it and then never went back to it. I just didn't have that problem with it. The boss I had.
You also didn't play the game 5 times for this podcast. Exactly. Each time getting to at least that bit and being like, why have I got to do this again?
Is it maybe the next boss I had the problem with, the guy that sort of turns himself into just some sort of spider thing in a burning shed?
No, because before next up we have El Gigante, the old troll, the first of the trolls, which I'm assuming you just used the rocket launcher on, if I remember rightly, and just one-shotted.
So entertained by the fact I just got to the point where I was just always carrying a rocket launcher with me in case I needed it, because I find it so funny and entertaining that the game just lets you nope out of the boss battles for the most part. I think it's quite cool, to be honest, because it's not just a thing you can do, it's a trade-off. So you go through probably like 4 or 5 rocket launchers throughout the whole game, so that's like that's like 150 grand worth of coins. Like, that is a lot of upgrades that I have given up on to have these rocket launchers. So it's not a nothing. It's not a win button, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like, my weapons are probably weaker as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. There was one boss I think I didn't have enough money for a rocket launcher. In fact, it was El Gigante. A boss that I very, very rarely have ever fought properly, because usually I just shoot him immediately and laugh at how quickly it's over. But the boss fight is actually quite cool if you do it the normal way around. For starters, the dog that you save from the bear trap comes and helps you out. He starts biting at the guy at El Gigante's ankles to distract him. There's 2 ways to... You're basically trying to weaken him until the Las Plagas parasite or whatever it is sprouts out of his back, and you can then shoot at that, or you can use a button prompt to climb up his back and just swipe at it with the knife for ages, which does save you quite a lot of ammo. So I ended up remembering that that's actually quite an involved and fun little boss fight where you've got those little 3 huts of items that you can pick up, and if you don't go in there and get them quickly, or you dither while you're in there, he will crush those things, and I think the items are then irretrievable after he smashes them up. So that's a cool boss fight, and again, great setup, because you can hear the noise before you go in there. You've already been through there before and you've already heard the noise in there the first time. Now it's even more prominent. You get that hilarious cutscene of all the Spanish lads trying to pull him out with his ropes, and he just like starts twatting them away and stomping on them. I mean, it's a shame they brought that boss back in 5 and just gave him a great big bushy beard and made you shoot him out the back of a car in a turret section, because that's what they were doing at that time.
So they did,
but the original El Gigante is a great boss fight, which you would agree with, but you shot him once with a rocket launcher. The only thing is, we move on.
I think I did engage them. There's a corridor in which you can engage them, and it's fun.
Oh yeah,
and you can like shoot stuff to knock things on his head and stuff like that. It's
Ashley's there for that one though, right?
Yeah, it's one of the probably standout bits about this game is it just lets you play with scenarios in a lot of different ways. I think it's like, don't get me wrong, it's not like a free for all, but there are.
It's not an immersive sim, but
there are multiple options to do things, which I very much
appreciate
in a game like this.
Yeah. So after El Gigante, we then have the Evil Dead style cabin fight where you're holding up with Luis and shooting him in the arse a lot.
I love that section of the game. I absolutely love that. There's I think I've maybe just got a soft spot for that. There's a Left 4 Dead 1 or 2 end of mission where you're sort of holding up in a cabin like that is very much just like fly by the seat of your pants. You're holding on as long as you can, and then eventually you lose control of the downstairs and you get pushed upstairs, and then they start coming in the windows and stuff, and you feel like you're just about to lose control of the situation, and it ends and Luis and Leon live to fight another day. But I loved that section. I thought that was one of the highlights for me of that game. I absolutely loved that bit. I just love to feel like BioShock was very good at this as well. The first time I ever played it is leaving like big enemy encounters feeling like you've just got out of there and no more. And that's how I felt when I did that bit. It was great.
Yeah, and turning regular enemies into a major set piece where they don't need a boss fight. They just kind of overwhelm you with regular. What I find funniest is that, as you say, nothing really seems to happen upstairs until you've been overrun downstairs. And the game, for some reason, in a segment that is entirely designed for you to handle a wave after wave of enemies until basically, I assume a death toll has been reached.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a time limit as well. I'm not 100% sure, but it allows you to push bookcases in front of all of the windows downstairs, which I did.
Yeah.
And then stood there like
for them to break it down.
Yeah, like why do I need these? Aren't helpful. I think I guess what you should really
when it goes bad, it's going to go bad fast.
Yeah, I suppose what you should do is like stagger them. So do like 2, and then let everybody come through one window for a bit, and then push that closed. Yeah, and I know when I was upstairs, I was just being a little shit, just running from window to window, just pushing the ladders over and over again. It felt like in the old COD Zombies where you're just like doing up the boards on the windows. But I was always just waiting for someone to start climbing and just shoving them all, and that takes so much longer for them to die off that. I must have prolonged that section so much from all the just pushing of lad. I wasn't shooting anyone for ages.
There was a bit,
so I could do this all day, lads. Keep putting them up. I'll keep knocking them down.
I think there's a bit later in the game where I did exactly that. I ended up sort of upstairs, and it's like the sandy area. And there's 2 chainsaw guys running about, and I ended up upstairs, and they just kept slowly climbing up the ladder. And every time they climbed the ladder, they just shoved the ladder over.
Yeah.
Because I had like no ammo or anything like that, so I was like knifing them or like pushing the ladder over. I was just like absolutely being such a little bitch.
Yeah, I do that in the opening segment sometimes when I decide I want to try and fight the chainsaw guy. Just push him off that ladder over and over and over again. There's a bit later on when you go into like the ruins or the mines section. I guess they're the same thing. Where there's one of those chainsaw guys in he's in sort of like a raised area. It's like a little raised, almost like a circuit, like a spherical cave thing with some windows in it.
I think that's the exact bit. This is the bit I was just
that probably is that bit actually. Yeah, and he's standing up the top of a ladder. Yeah, there is, isn't there? But he was stood up the top of the ladder, and I was sniping him, and he couldn't climb down the ladder. So I just sniped him, and he just never. He never got near me. He was like running, like clipping into the wall, and never actually did anything. Very stupid.
That's actually quite smart as well, and for a game of the time and what it is, because they telegraph the guy in a different way, because usually they telegraph you by the noise happening and then they'll come through a door, but you can actually see him walking around. It's probably the only time I can think that you're playing the game that they sort of warn you of a chainsaw guy being about, because you can see him walking back and forth. And if
there's one bit in the village as well, isn't there, where he's off in the distance?
Oh, is there?
I think. Yeah, you come out of a room and he's like just up a street. You can see him and snipe him from there if you have it by that point. But yeah, other than that, I think you're absolutely right. Then, so when you've done the cabin bit, you then you've got the choices. The next like major part is you've got a choice of 2 routes to take. One, as David just said a minute ago, is the second fight with an El Gigante, this time with the ability to drop boulders and shit on his head while Ashley cowers in a corner. Or you can go the other route and you can fight the Bella sisters.
The Bella sisters, man. They were hard. I had to do them like 3 or 4 times.
They are fucking terrifying. They are. I dread that bit of the game. That bit is arguably more hectic than the opening village section. And of course, there's 2 chainsaw women in there. And I think they did the introduction of the Bella sisters that they did in the remake, where they chainsaw through a wall in a small cabin that you're in, was excellent. Like they really did those like the service they deserve. Because that bit, even now after all the times playing it, that is the bit where I felt like you described a minute ago, where I cannot believe I've made it through that segment, and it's a miracle that I wasn't killed by one of them.
Yeah. That sort of stuff is so satisfying when it's pulled off. It's pulled off correctly, because you do like that's what the game wants, right? Is you feel like you're just somehow getting by, and that's
I mean, Dead Space 2 completely does that from start to finish.
Yeah,
it very much is that game again. Then we fight your old mate Mendez, who you posed the immortal question of what happens to him if he wins the fight and he's lost his legs or whatever.
Stays in that burning house for a while.
Yeah, he got me in this game, if I remember rightly. I think he killed me once.
The fish fight in Resident Evil 5, where you have to shoot the guy. He just turns himself into a fish. It's like, oh, you're just going to live in the sea now, are you? Well done. That's going to be fun.
They were kraken. He's enormous as well. How did you get on with Mendez?
I think I got lucky. So I beat him second time. The first time
Oh, actually, I didn't have a rocket launcher for him this time either, which normally I probably would take one for it. I
didn't have a rocket launcher for him either. I had to do it the OG way. I had a bit of a tough time with him. So the first time he got me, I basically climbed up the ladder and then he knocked me down. And basically every time I'd like turn around to shoot him, he would be knocking me over. So I basically didn't get a single shot off, and then I was dead. And then the second time, I did get a shot off, and I just unleashed on him, and he just died really quickly. So I had both a terrible time and a surprisingly easy time with him. Tricky boss that was potentially very frustrating for me, but I got through it relatively quickly.
Yeah, a very, very small boss fight area as well, which is quite weird to be involved in that after you've...
When he starts to wind up his long-range attack, you had to already be out of the way. Like, I felt like if you were reacting to the wind-up, you were too late, and I couldn't quite figure out how to predict it. It was my trouble.
Yeah, I think for a lot of the times I fought that guy, I spend very little time actually looking at him. I feel like I'm always trying to transition between upstairs and downstairs to try and throw him off his pathfinding coming after me. So I feel like I'm very, very rarely looking at him. I'm running up the ladder, seeing if he's down there behind me, giving him some shots as he's coming towards me, and then I'm going to jump back off and just go to the other end of the room and just keep trying to like kite him round and round so he's always the maximum distance away from me. But of course, once he starts flinging around the ceiling, that makes that harder. But he's a cool boss. He's a cool character as well. As we said before, he looks like the Undertaker.
He's a great sort of persistent feeling of danger that exists up to that point, because obviously it builds towards that through numerous points. You encounter him a couple of times and you're sort of aware of him in the background. I think he's a good what's the word, but I can't think of the word, but yeah, he's a good sort of constant danger throughout the game up until you actually have to face him. And then when you face him, he is potentially quite tough as well, so it sort of lives up to that. And I think he's a great character in the game. Because I really like the El Gigante are tough and scary, but they're very one-dimensional. It's just big brute, mess you up. Whereas this guy is a sort of creeping menace in a way that the Gigantes aren't. But then he also has the strength that is just like he will overpower you because he's stronger than you. Very effective character. Big fan. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there.
I really like the part where you've got almost like an optional extra scene with him, where after he finds Leon in that house for the first time, and he sort of chokes him and throws him and says, I'll leave you alone because you have the same blood as us. Yeah. If you go, he then leaves through the room you've just come through, and I think I actually did this by accident because I'd forgotten about it. If you go back into that room again, he's still in there. I like to think that he's probably like trying on one of the dresses that's in one of the cupboards or something, and you've kind of caught him in the act. He then like properly starts trying to kill Leon, and that's when you get the first sneak peek of Ada Wong, who she shoots him through a window.
I missed
she's
that.
Like hanging from a thing. Did you play the Separate Ways? Have you ever played any of the Separate Ways?
Yeah, I played probably about an hour of it.
So I do like how that kind of plays this sort of it goes back to the thing we were talking about on the Code Veronica thing about the zapping almost, doesn't it, with the how they have the different systems, where this time you find out that Ada is the one who rings the church bell to get them all to leave for Leon. And that's such a cool thing that they did that. After Mendez, we're off to the castle.
The other thing I like is, before we move on from Mendez, is until that it disappears after you kill him, but up until that point they also like sort of continue to remind you of his presence because his portraits around the place. I thought that was a small but nice little artistic touch that they add to the game. Yeah,
the portraits of them all around the places is very funny. I sent you
a picture of a portrait that just baffled me. Some boy with a square head and sitting next to a portrait that I just couldn't figure out what it even was. That guy's head though was amazing. I'm gonna have to put a picture of it on Blue Sky.
Yeah, you are, because that almost looked like AI. I mean, maybe it was AI content back then. I don't know, but that splodgy random picture was mental. Oh yeah, it should also not be forgotten that Mendez has one of his eyes as a key. So that is
he does.
How are you ever going to get him a safer key than that? And, especially if you're that guy, you probably never expected to have to sprout his big spine worm and then lose his eye to Leon Kennedy. But if I ever lose an eye, I'm going to make my glass eye into a key for something important.
But then, imagine him trying to get in, trying to unlock his, once he's turned into his weird monster form, just trying to get into that house. And the guy's probably just like, don't bring your slime guts in here. Just stay out there.
Yeah, and he can't even bend down low enough now because he's like 5 feet tall. He can't. What? 5 feet? He's like 10 foot tall, and he can't lean down to put his eye in there. So he has to just take it out and slot it in like Leon does. What a hero! Absolutely. I mean, and as you said when you were playing it, like that. Other than the fact that in the game we've seen it written when you try and open that door, there's a retinal scan on here, and also the fucking eye flashes because that's what the collectibles do. But why would you, as Leon Kennedy, ever think to pick up a dead dude's glass eye as it rolls along, just in case?
Yeah, just keep that in case.
Yeah, bizarre.
I've got
so
a recommendation for you as well. So if you're ever there. If you're ever at a loose end, so I'm reading these books at the moment, but I think they were written to be audiobooks. So bear in mind that the elevator pitch for this book series sounds terrible, but it's genuinely brilliant. There's this book series called the Dungeon Runner Carl books, written by a guy called Matt Dinneman, and it's about this guy. He has a cat, and he's just been dumped by his girlfriend. His girlfriend's gone off on holiday with this new boyfriend, and left him to look after the cat in their own house. And the cat escapes out the window, and he goes outside to try and get the cat out of a tree. And he goes out just with a jacket on and his pants. And it turns out this alien race just comes along and flattens the entire planet. And he ends up he finds this like dungeon, so he goes down into this dungeon, and it turns out that aliens have destroyed the world and humans have been set into this, like, if you die you die, and you've got to try and stay alive, like levels to a dungeon, and each level to a dungeon has got a different setting. It's like a video game, so he levels up, he gains XP, the cat can speak, and the AI that runs the dungeon is a complete pervert that likes feet, so it keeps giving him upgrades to his feet, so he has to walk around with no shoes on and like pedicure his feet, wear his pants and stuff like that. And there was a reason. Why did I go into that when you started speaking?
Something to do with Mendez's eye?
Yes, because he's got in this book he's got an inventory. So he basically runs around picking up everything he can because there's no weight limit to the inventory, just stuffing everything he can. So he cuts someone's head off and he's got the severed head in his inventory. Like if someone's like got gushing blood, he puts their blood in his inventory and stuff like that. Maybe Leon has read this book and he's just
maybe
the eye is something I'm going to need at some point, I think.
I mean, I do I do like their attempts to sort of show more and more like pockets and little bags and stuff on Leon as you play through the game to at least try to. That's true.
Because I would quite like it if he had a backpack on, and when you went into your inventory, you got a little backpack for you. But yeah, you get this metal briefcase.
Well, like Zombie U.
Yeah, like Zombie U. Another game I need to come back to at some point.
Yeah, I'm worried because I think I'm going to be still shit at that game and not enjoy it. But I really want to try it again. The castle, right? The castle with all the monks, who had through all my time playing this with my friends Simon and Chris, we'd always try and make up things that sounded like they were saying.
Memorize this game in the same way he has.
No, this is where he probably stopped playing it as religiously as anything else. Like he probably played through it once, and then when he came around and hung out with me to play, I remember being astonished. He remembered like everything, where everything was, because he was like on like a Rain Man like that. But yeah, the things that the monks say in this game, like I remember we always used to try and decipher what it was they were saying. I think one of them kept sounding like they were talking about the footballer Andreas Iniesta. It always says that they're saying Iniesta.
Yes.
And they also sound like they're saying cock Hitler a lot as well. Cock Hitler, cock Hitler,
right.
Cock Hitler. Or cock handler.
Was a bit disappointed that I didn't hear much Donde Estas, which I heard endlessly in the remake. Donde Estas.
They always say un polastero, which I don't understand either. And Iniesta. Oh, that's Iniesta again, isn't it? Yeah.
Iniesta. Just fans of Barcelona. It is kind of Spanishy, Latin American anyway.
Well, maybe that's why. Yeah. Maybe that's why Iniesta, because Iniesta's a big, a known fan of Japanese shit. Yeah, that's why he went out to play out there.
That's the only reason he'd heard.
So they wanted to play. Before. Yeah, even though he was probably not even really playing for Barcelona by that point. So I don't know why they'd pay tribute to him at that point. I do like the castle. The first sort of main thing you get to deal with in the castle is the old Garrador, old blindy boy. What do you reckon to this prick?
Oh, they're great. They are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love them. They are terrifying because I'm a big fan of it. How do I say this succinctly? It makes you do the opposite from what you to do the boss properly. You have to do the opposite of what your normal reaction is. So if you walk slowly and like don't react,
who the fuck wants to walk slowly when he's around?
Well, your opposite reaction is just start sprinting about, trying to keep away from him. But when you start doing that, he knows exactly where you are and chases you. Where if you stop and walk, he can't find you, and it allows you to get behind him and take him out. Yeah, I think this is a really smart boss. The whole castle area is actually really, really fun and interesting because it is a distinct tonal shift from the rest of the game.
Major one, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like full stop, next chapter.
Yeah.
Completely new feeling of the game. And I think it comes along at a good time. The sort of first area is great, obviously. There's so many iconic bits in it. But yeah, I think when that comes along, you're about ready for something new. And
exactly.
Even the sort of the way that area introduces, it's the introduction to that area is the bit with the cannons and stuff or like the catapults.
After you've had the sniper guy trying to run you over in a van as well.
Yeah, I just think it's a great. Yeah, it's a great tonal shift. The enemy types are slightly different. They've got different stuff that they attack you with. They are intimidating in a different way. They're sort of more spooky than the other guys. I just think it's a nice change of scenery that is very much welcome at this point when it comes along. And yeah,
I completely agree.
That boss where you originally asked me the question was, I think he's a fantastic. Is he a boss? Because you can't remember if you.
He's like one of sort of the super enemies, isn't he? With like the Bella sisters and then Dr. Salvador, the old chainsaw bloke.
He's super engaging. I love him, because, like I said, he makes you do the opposite of what you want to do to effectively take him out. And I like stuff that makes you sort of fight against your sort of natural reaction to things, which I think is quite cool.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. And of course, when you have two of them later on, it's even and enemies on top of it.
Yeah,
it's just absolute madness. I often, for some reason, I like almost role play those fights with him. Where for some reason in my head, I decided that shooting the bells to distract him doesn't make sense because he would surely think the gunshot is also loud and he would come after you because of that. So I always knife the bells to make it more realistic. But I don't need to do that.
That's
because he doesn't come after the gunshot.
Leon's an idiot, so
he is.
He might not think of that.
Exactly. You're small time. Exactly. That's the worst line ever. I hate that line.
What does he shout in Lewis? Is it Lewis or does he shout no when Lewis dies? No!
He shouts, Lewis!
It just like screams in his dead face.
Yeah, and then if you go over the top of him, doesn't he says something about I swear I'll make them pay for this, Lewis, or something.
And Lewis is a pain in the ass.
Doesn't even seem like he likes him all that much. Yeah.
Lewis has got an antidote and he just leaves it behind. He just completely
drops it, doesn't he?
I need to go back for it. I've just left it. Oh, you completely fell in.
Pervs on the president's daughter immediately. And again, there's going to be no story talk in this podcast because I think last time I just basically read it and then David and I made fools of ourselves by realizing all the things we'd ignored. But Lewis is he's researched basically all of this shit, hasn't he? He's actually the way that he writes stuff and his actual role in the plot when you read all of his notes and all the research he's been doing comes across as a super intelligent guy, whereas in the flesh he's just a twat.
Yeah, except in the flesh that you say
he's a cad.
Except that he's written all this research and taken it apart and just left it sporadically around the castle. Keeping it together on his person. He's just thought, 2 pages here, 2 pages over there, 3 pages back there. That's fine. I'm a policeman.
Yeah, none of it on his person. It's only paper. Have you seen what Leon's carrying around, mate? You can't carry 5 notes. Okay.
And he can't even remember an antidote that he found for it.
I mean, at least it works. At least it works.
It does work.
Bloody Lewis. But yeah, then once you've got through the the castle and you've done the first Garrador. Then you're going down into the sewers where you fight the sort of invisible Sam. I swear they did this on purpose. That they made when you get attacked by those, I can't even remember what they're called. The bug things that are invisible. When you kind of see them coming at you, first of all, I swear they did it on purpose to make it look like Sam Fisher's little head mask in Splinter Cell. Because I always think it looks like Sam Fisher's turned into a bug and is coming at me. He's gone through like the fly machine or whatever. But they're fucking dicks as well. Oh, they're a really good enemy.
When initially they were kicking my ass until I sort of fell into a cadence of being able to deal with them. Yeah, initially they were just walloping me.
Yeah, once you can kind of see the blurry bit of the screen where they are, it's slight. And if you've got a good shotgun as well, then yeah, they are easier to handle.
This game does love a ladder. Sorry, I've got a long play on while we're chatting about this, so that I can remember. The game loves a ladder. I will say, I think climbing a tall ladder is pretty scary. Could you climb how tall a ladder would you be able to climb before you're like, oh, I am vertically hanging off the edge of something? I don't think it would get that high before I would be like, no.
I'm completely with you.
Couldn't climb the clock tower.
Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah, right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. Whereas
the one where they smashed that up, don't they?
Launch herself off of it. Just gave her the chance.
Yeah. Leon jumps down all of them without any damage.
Just jumps down.
That always brings me back to thinking about when I watch wrestling and I watch a ladder match, because I don't know about you, but if I'm ever putting a ladder up to do anything, I am fucking paranoid. I'm going to trap my fingers in it.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
Like, but the speed at which they pick up a ladder and like close a ladder. Yeah. I'm like, are you not concerned for your fingers? And how have none of you ever just gone, oh, I caught my finger? Like, no wrestler has ever done that as far as I can tell.
No,
and I'm astonished by their ability to handle ladders without that pressure upon them, because I cannot stop thinking about it.
To this day, I still have flashbacks. Briefly, when my mate Scott and I were like recording and watching WWE on a regular basis, there was a ladder match at a pay-per-view. Can't remember which one it was, and it had who was in it, but basically one of the guys got a ladder off his face and almost lost his eye. That was awful.
Yeah, that was. I can't remember the name of that guy, but it was Eminem, because it was John Morrison and him, and they were against the Hardys, and they did like the little seesaw trick and absolutely bashed his face in
there as well, I think.
Oh yeah, they might have been. Yeah.
He basically just nearly, I was going to say nearly died. That was a bit dramatic. He basically nearly lost an eye. It was so bad, so bad. It was the first time. When Triple H blew his knee up, are the two times I can remember, like the first two times I can remember, like noticing that a wrestler is actually injured during a wrestling match.
Yeah, that knee blowout thing was very. You could just see like all his hopes and dreams just being sapped out of him at the same time that it happened.
Pedigree whoever he was fighting.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, a move where you famously land on your own knees.
Yeah. Oh. Just stop. Anyway, sorry.
But the man has shown himself to be a complete and utter idiot in recent times, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. But yeah, Leon would be fine at a ladder match because he can just fight down them, and Ashley can launch off them, no bother. So she'd be good. Swan
yeah, definitely. Yeah, she's doing that already. But yeah, the invisible dudes, they play around with them as well in really clever ways. You know, you've got the ones that are sort of they break through the cells in the little prison. Then there's one that kind of comes out of the ceiling, and you can sort of see that thing break off, but not know where he's come from. Then they start bringing them out in water, where you can see the water rippling in front of you. Like, really good at playing with how these enemies are approaching you.
Invisibility, do they? It's just it's not a magic power,
or even what they are.
Yeah, or even what they are.
Yeah, I guess Salazar does mention there's something to do with his toys or whatever.
Okay, so I assumed they were a variation of, like how you get are they in like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3? You get the thing and you'll see them like going through the corridors really fast. Is that just a variation of those things? Do you know what I'm talking about?
There's definitely some of those in 3, isn't there, where it's like in a construction site area, and there's like those kind of bug style enemies that are quite similar to that.
Is it after the clock tower? They sort of, you see them moving through the corridors. Do you know what I'm talking about?
In 2?
Yeah, the clock tower's in 2, right? Or is that 3?
No, that's 3.
Oh, it's 3. I'm thinking about. Yeah, you just basically see the environment from their eyes, and you just see them moving about the level, and then after that you'll come around a corner and there'll be like a poison one, or there'll be like a red one. What am I talking about?
They love doing. You're talking about hunters. That's what you're talking about. I've just realised that.
They're not just like variations of that. That's what they were in my brain.
I would probably say not, because they're slightly easier to kill than a hunter. Hunters are more like a giant frog lizard thing, aren't they?
I should have also said
there's hunters in Veronica. Yeah. The poison ones that's what you're thinking of, because they also have a bit where they're coming at you from Wesker's. When he puts up his little cameras, you see one running after you there, which is something they're so annoying.
Dumps them.
Because they
I'm done with those. Not doing that again.
I'm just gonna let them run free. They'll find you when they find you. They repeat that whole from their viewpoint in this game for when you fight old matey's right hand man, don't they?
Yes.
When he's coming at you in that bit. Fucking keep yawning. You've got the garden maze as well, where you get all these crazy dogs with worms coming out of their head.
Yeah, I just wish games would stop making
great section though,
please. But yeah, it's a good section.
Yeah. Well, Resident Evil's never going to stop making you shoot dogs. It's been from day one.
That is one of its things.
Yeah, but I've always
knife traps that are on the ground. You know, those sort of bear traps.
Oh yeah,
I never knew I could do that.
Yeah, this is for playing through too, mate. In Summer of Resi 2035.
Yeah.
Then after the garden maze, go back into the castle. That it feels like the castle for what it is. It just throws you through so many different little sub areas. Very thick and fast. You've even got that bit with the random fire bit that I think you just get a treasure for. You don't even have to do anything, as far as I can remember. Where Leon's like, "You stay here. I'm going to go on this little cart and kind of ride out into this."
Oh yeah.
You remember that bit? Yeah. There's just lava everywhere and these big dragon heads shooting fire. Like, what is that bit?
That is weird.
That was cut from the remake.
That is odd. Yeah, it just. Yeah. I guess it's the same as the statue that chases you. There's a bit of me that I'm like, that is schlocky and silly and funny, and just leave it. But also, it doesn't really fit with the rest of the game. It's a bit of a non sequitur, right? These sections some of the sections have cut. It doesn't make sense with the rest of the game.
Yeah, at least the Salazar one. No. I think the Salazar one, you can kind of, you can say, all right, fair enough. He built a monument to himself. Yeah. For some reason, he's made it autonomous and it can run. Good on him. But what are even the logistics of having a lava room in your house? Yeah. Here, stand on my hands. This is how I get through my house across the hands of my statue. But yeah, that lava room, how do you even have that inside your house? What happens when you open
cheap heating?
Any of the doors?
Just smash it through the
cheap
pipes.
Heating? Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on with your house. Why you'd live?
Oh, I better find that room.
Yeah. Find that room and pour some water on it or something.
Shoot the guys riding on the dragon things, and then they'll bugger off.
Yeah. Close a valve. Spraying out. Have a look under your floor. See if you can find a crank that'll shut it off. I don't know.
No, I definitely shouldn't leave any of my most valuable treasures in that room in a weird box that
no, you shouldn't.
Only I know where it is, and
no matter the size of the item, you've got to be able to fit it in your pocket as well, because I feel like that's what they essentially do.
Yeah, it has to be more carryable than a piece of paper with some notes on it.
The most uncarryable things.
They're just so heavy, you just have to leave them where they are. I can't even pick this up. It has to stay on this table forever in the bottom of this mine. If
you were Lewis or Leon going through what you were going through, just taking 20 minutes out to write a diary entry.
And also not taking 20 minutes out to be like, look, sorry, Lewis, before you go, I've seen 3 notes from you so far. I think you're writing them to me. Do you want to just tell me? We're here now. We've been trapped in this cupboard for ages. There's a bloke who's going to come and cut us free in a minute if we move it in time. Can we have a chat about that before you just run away and lose another antidote, please? Then There we right. Next, we're playing as Ashley. So this, I said to you beforehand, I think before you'd played it, way less scary than the remake, which shits me the hell up.
It does, yeah.
This one is quite easy. I mean, the suits of armor are pretty terrifying, but they're still not as scary as they are in the remake. I'm assuming you agree.
You can see them coming as well. Once you've encountered one, you know exactly what's about to happen, don't you?
Yeah.
Again, it's one of these things that Oh yeah, so what you could the thing I sort of like about this and find it interesting is you can sort of pick up the lanterns and throw them at the enemies to set them on fire.
Yeah.
It shits me up when the enemies start dodging it, and I'm like, oh god, I'm running out of these. But then,
it's limited supply, absolutely.
Yeah, but then you also realise that if you kite the enemies properly, you can just lock them out of rooms.
I had to because I ran out of lanterns when I was playing.
I realised that after I had killed them, I was like, oh, okay, so there was something I could have done. Again, like I've been doing this a lot throughout this podcast, but sort of drawing on other things. There's it reminds me a bit of there's a section of one of the Plague Tale games. I played that. Is it a trilogy? Anyway, played those games a couple of years ago, and there's a bit where you're stealthing about, and there's a guy trying to chase you about, and as he's chasing you, you've got to like stand at this crank and wind this crank, and then run away, and it is so scary. It gives me sort of reminders of that because you've got to do the same thing with Ashley. You've got to like go up to this crank.
That's true. Yeah,
spinning this thing, and I'm like, oh god, are they coming? Are they coming? Are they coming? I don't know. I don't know. And then obviously you deal with it, and then you move on. But yeah, it's both fun in that it's a decent section. Again, it's a change of pace that I found unexpectedly welcome. I was sort of not looking forward to it, but ended up quite enjoying it once it happened. And then I sort of enjoyed realizing that you had multiple options to deal with the enemy. When initially it just felt like you had one thing or you had nothing. You were just this girl that had no way to combat the enemies, and you realize that actually there's a couple of ways I could have dealt with this if I was smart and thinking. It's a good section, I think, overall. I actually think it's better than the remake, if I'm honest.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more.
Okay.
Because
I like that.
Again, this is over a year, so I may be misremembering. My memory of the remake, that section was very modern, video gamey. It was quite you knew how to dodge them, you knew how to be stealthy, and it was about mechanically.
It was a lot more stealth focused, wasn't it, that one?
Ticking those boxes off and going through it. Whereas this one, I felt, at least, I wasn't quite sure what would happen when I went to different areas. And yeah, the multiple options to deal with enemies sort of threw me a little bit in that. Yeah, like I said, it didn't feel quite as straightforward. Whereas I was very aware of the rules in the remake. I wasn't as aware of the rules in this one, which added to the stress and tension for me, at least.
That's a very good point, actually, that it's quite unique in that feel.
Yeah. It was one of the things that scared me the most about Alien Isolation is even to this day, I don't think I've ever figured out the rules of engagement with that alien, which just adds stress to the point that, it hurt my insides to play. Whereas this one, like the rules of engagement were more varied than I think the remake perhaps was, if memory serves properly. I agree. That they definitely modernized Ashley's section in the remake, and not all modern gaming facets are preferable. From what I can remember, the next boss fight is quite similar in the remake to the original, but Verdugo, I believe he's called, the right hand of Salazar, is a boss I still will always be terrified of. Which one is that?
The one that's the one before the guy in the robe, who you don't actually have to kill, as far as I'm aware. The one who you basically have to kite towards cans of night. What kind of acid is it?
I didn't kill him. The one, you've got to like kite him about until the lift comes down.
Yeah, or you can kill him.
Is this and before you can, or after the sniper section where you've got to have Ashley running about pulling levers for you as you snipe her enemy?
After,
okay, because that bit was a bit I had to take a break on. That scared me. That stressed me out.
That's a very stressful, especially when you run out of sniper ammo.
Yeah.
But yeah, this boss fight. What the fuck? What is it that you can knock him over? What is that thing that freezes people?
Like you pull over. It's like, is it nitroglycerin?
Yeah, something like that, isn't it?
Anyway, you pull over the things and then you shoot.
Yeah, and it will sort of freeze him.
Yeah.
Doesn't freeze Leon for some reason, even though he's right in front of it.
I had problems.
He takes
the remake
so much ammo.
Yeah, you kicked my ass. I kited him in this. I didn't kill him when I played it.
Yeah. I don't know why I bothered, because I think the reward is, it's not a lot of money. I think if I remember rightly, it might be 30,000.
Yeah,
from what I can remember. Well, that's true. That is a rocket launcher. Yeah, but I mean, he used all my mag ammo that I had. He basically used all my shotgun. Like, I was without significant amounts of ammo for a long time after wasting all of it on this twat. Even after I'd got the striker, I thought I'm going to make mincemeat of this fool, because I was hitting every single one of those canisters. And it still just does not go down easy at all. But I just can't remember. See if I can actually find out here.
Yeah, I had a really hard time with him. I thought he was a tough boss. But yeah, like I say,
he is really tough.
I shot all of the canisters and missed most of them. So
I
just had to try and kite him around until the thing came down and just jump on the elevator and leave.
So it says here he's got 20,000 HP.
Jesus.
I don't know how much we get. Does it ever tell here what you
20,000?
Obviously if you freeze him and then hit him with the rocket launcher, that will kill him in one. It's nitrogen, that's what it is that you freeze him with.
Nitrogen, okay. Okay, we're kind of close by saying nitros. We had the night.
Yeah. But he's probably one of the hardest ones in the game, I think, especially like I say, for just how long he takes to kill. It even says it in the wiki that it's one of the most robust enemies in the game. Killing it without knowing its weaknesses will require a large amount of ammunition and healing items. And you can just run down the elevator without having to kill him and save ammo. Good job you don't ever have to really fight the second one.
No. You don't, do you? How do you?
No, he just congeals himself with Salazar in his boss fight.
Yes, okay.
So yeah, but before you get to that, of course, you have to go to the mines, which we've already discussed with the old chainsaw bloke making his return. This minecart section in this game very different to the remake. The remake, of course, tried to make it more of a section where you're actually controlling the minecart as much as anything else, whereas this one is purely just stand in it and shoot wave after wave of enemies that will just jump down on top of you. I got a couple of good ones where I shot the chainsaw bloke quickly enough that he fell onto the track and didn't land in my thing, which was a relief. But yeah, it's another one of those segments of the game that I always dread coming up in a good way, because I just know it's really tough and it's going to be a drain of ammo.
That's a fun challenge. It's one of those ones that I think I failed a couple of times, but I actually enjoyed doing it. So it wasn't like I've messed this up.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, we go again sort of thing.
Yeah, it's quite enjoyable. You'll have the striker by then. It's such a high octane set piece where you're just flying through in a minecart while dickheads keep jumping into the things behind you, and you can just blast them away with a really good shotgun. So yeah, it's not by any means a bad section. Maybe the two El Gigante twins is where you have to. How did you defeat these? If I remember rightly, I rocket launched one of them and then dropped the other one into the lava.
Yeah, that's exactly.
But I did the lava bit first. You did that too. Okay.
I did the lava bit second, but I did exactly the same thing.
Oh right, okay.
I sort of popped the rocket launcher, killed one, climbed up the ladder, waited for him to come over, slid down, smacked the button as he was coming after me. Indeed. You
did the little zip line thing.
The only thing I was disappointed was when you put him in the lava, you obviously don't get the reward from him. You're sort of giving that up. But yeah, that was another cool boss fight. I also like that in the
because they've got armor on, haven't they? They're slightly different to the original. Yeah.
No, it was well done. I enjoyed that bit. Good fun. And I like that the sort of take things off you. So like obviously if you did do the lava bit first, it's like, oh, that's broken now. It knows what you're going to try and do.
Yeah.
Does the old Mr. Freeze from Batman learns, well, that breaks, but yeah, it means you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again, which I think is cool.
I think maybe it does work again, but it's on like a timer. So I think you have to sort of...
it breaks. Do you want to... Well, we'll look this up because I think it breaks.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that, after a certain amount of time, it just opens again, but you have to kind of wait for that to happen. So you're sort of on your own for a minute or so.
If I'm correct,
but I could be wrong.
The only reason I'm correct is because I looked this up in a guide.
Oh, okay.
And I read that it breaks. What chapter is that? Do you know? The Resident Evil wikis, like the Resident Evil... Oh, no.
3 maybe? Chapter 1. There's Flames of Fury. No, it sounds like it might be it. That's chapter 4. Then there's Bloody Mines after that. Cart Ride of Doom. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, it's after the cart ride.
Castellan's Last Stand, maybe.
That's Salazar, so it'd be before that.
Before that.
So yeah, it'll be in the mine after the minecart bit.
After you get Royal Insignia, I think I'm in the wrong bit. Royal Insignia, that can't be right. Ashley's Adventure, Flames of Fury. Maybe it's Flames of Fury.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, Flames of Fury is maybe that weird section we spoke about.
It could be, yeah.
Bloody Mines. Boss fight. 2 specific opponents, both El Gigantes. The arena consists of a large smelting pit. The player can defeat one El Gigante by luring it to the platform, then swinging the lever. By the time the player reaches the lever, the boss should be on top of the trapdoor. Be careful performing this action as it can still drag people down. Blah, when the platform is open, blah, blah, blah. The trap then breaks, preventing the second boss from being killed in the same manner.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Like I say, I can't take credit for that. I've obviously read that and remembered it.
Yeah. We've talked about the statue bit that comes after that. So the next sort of key element to the game is the old Salazar fight, which I think you and I found probably the hardest boss fight in the remake. Again, because that game does not have rocket launchers in it to allow you to one-shot these fuckers.
In the remake, I found that
really struggled with that.
It made me
very tough.
In the remake.
Yeah, me too, I think. Especially because, I'm coming to that from... What? This takes 10 seconds on the first game. I shoot his eye, he opens his mouth, rocket launcher, we move on. This is taking ages. We can't, it's weird, isn't it? I can't really talk, even after all this time and the amount of times I've played it, I can't really talk about the Salazar boss fight too much because I've never really done it properly.
How did you see when you were a kid and you were playing this? Well, you're a kid, you're sort of a young adult playing this game. How did you know about it? Did you have a guide? Because the internet wasn't, I guess it was a thing in 2005, but it wasn't, I think feasibly, you didn't have ready access to the internet every day in your room to look up stuff. It was something you had to consciously go looking for. Like I remember when I was younger, that when the internet first came into my house, it was like the computer was in a cupboard under our stairs, which is also our shoe cupboard, which meant if I wanted to go on the internet, it took ages to log on. My parents couldn't use the phone, so I didn't get access to it very often. And it stunk of feet because all the shoes were in there. So, I didn't.
So we're talking
2005. I'm not sure.
I mean, 2005. I was 19, so I definitely had like the internet in my room by that point. Because I remember like when I was in sixth form, I was on MSN Messenger changing my fucking screen name to be a lyric from, I don't know, the starting line so that I could
living the dream, mate.
Chat up a chick.
I don't think I had internet in my room until I went to uni. or college.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I probably had
2007.
internet. Yeah, I would have had it by 2003,
Do you know
probably.
what's also funny on top of that? My dad had a 30 gig. It was maybe even less than that, but like a monthly download limit. So
wow.
I got my internet managed as well while I lived at home with my parents.
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, my dad ran an Ethernet cable up the side of the house and through the brick. He like drilled through the brick for me to get like an out port for me.
Your dad is such a dude, man. Like I love like he just wanted his kids to have a good time. He's got such cool interests. Like I want to be your dad. Like if I ever have kids, I just want to just make sure they're having a good time and also just be into something like painting models. I just think that's so good. Your dad is
he just retired and he paints models, he watches movies and he bowls. He goes bowling on his bowling team. Oh, and he plays golf, which I guess he has to do that really, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he takes holidays.
Yeah.
So yeah, I must have used Game FAQs for this because that was definitely around by then. Or I had a guide, or I had Chris. And I think maybe it might have just been Chris who was like, mate, what, you have to shoot him in the eye first, wait till he opens his mouth and shoot that with the rocket launcher because otherwise it won't work.
What's he doing?
I found that out.
Is he an internet lad? Is he just pouring over?
He probably just played it enough times to learn it and then was like, I've done it now. I have to give Alex my wisdom.
Because part of the reason I asked is genuinely like, I remember playing Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion and I would actually sit, like I played so much of that game and then at some point I bought a guide and would just sit and pour over the guide, like the physical guide. And
maybe one of us had the guide.
That was 2006, 2007, I would guess Oblivion came out.
Yeah. I love a guide.
I do love a guide.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
maybe one of us bought a guide.
The Final Fantasy one you got me is great.
Yeah, so really good.
And I've got a Metal Gear Solid 2 one as also.
Oh yeah, you've got a lot of them back there. I can see a lot of the old Prima red strap on the sides.
Through a period of just thinking, oh, this is actually like as well as buying like retro games that just sit on my shelf and don't do anything because I usually just download it and play it on my PC. Guides are actually quite a cool thing. I've got a hardback BioShock one that I got on my dad.
Oh, nice!
Yeah, it's quite a cool one. Then I've got multiple Gears ones. I've got multiple Witcher ones. Yeah, I've got some cool ones.
Gears guide is great. Yeah. Shoot this one right now. Shoot that one.
Yeah,
thanks, guide.
I know. Like it's like what is even in that?
It's got to be the collectibles. I mean, I can't think what else you'd need it for. Boss strategies. Oh, it looks nice though.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of art. Yeah, it's a lot of art, and it's got a lot of maps, I guess. But
that's the best thing about guides. Well, probably not, but that is frequently the best thing about like a Prima strategy guide is they always have an illustrated map. Because finding those on the internet can be a bit of a lottery of is this map going to properly show me where X item is or Y item is. So that I'll always appreciate a nice drawn map.
I'm a big proponent of that. If you are sort of into video games and you're like, oh, I don't want plastic discs sitting on my shelf like David and Alex do, guides are a good way to get some art and actually sort of collect things about games you like. I need to get
stick some
Resident Evil 4 one now. I need to have a look for some Resident Evil
guides.
Oh,
that's the fourth thing he's buying today, boys.
I bet you there's some good Resident Evil guides. Even like 1 and 2 might be quite good. I bet you.
Well, I think the Code Veronica one's good that we used the Internet Archive scan of for the last time.
Right. That was a really good one.
I would like to own that for reals. Resi 4's probably got a good one. Right, we're almost at the end of the game now. We move to the island, which I do think is probably the weakest part of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
I quite like the big fat lad with his minigun. We just sort of go, Brrr! He's quite fun. And obviously the enemies on this one are very tough, but it does just start to throw so many at you all the time. But I do really like the regenerator enemies. I think they're a real strong difficulty spike. Well, not really a difficulty spike because once you get the infrared scope,
they're great. They're great. Yeah,
they're brilliant.
The living bejesus out of me, but they're great. Really good. I forgot about them. You're right. They struck fear because see when I I walked into a room and saw in you. So I don't know if I saw them or I was like, oh no, I know what's coming.
Definitely hear them making that noise.
Because I just remember playing them in the 4 remake, and then I walked into the room. I was like, oh, I forgot these were a thing.
They're a lot harder in the remake, because I think even when you shoot them, you shoot their legs off in the remake. They start being like salmon, don't they? Kind of like leap at you and start like sprouting the spikes out as they're doing it. Whereas in this version, they are. Well, yeah, I think you only really have to deal with one before you get the scope on your gun, so it's not quite as overwhelming as in that remake, where I think there's quite a lot of locked off areas you need to deal with in that one to kind of get away from them.
Yeah, you're right.
But they're still really cool.
They're really cool. There's a few times I was streaming it, and I was like, right, I need to show my credentials by taking them out, like not missing.
Hit all the. Yeah,
there was one that was like, right, I'm going to take them. I don't think you were watching at the time. That was like, right, I'm going to take them out, and I did like all the front ones. He fell on his front, then I just like missed the back one over and over again. He just stood up and absolutely ruined me.
I think I had a few times where I was about to get the last one on his front, and then Leon reloaded instead when I pressed the trigger. Shit! You go like bang, 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 click. Oh no, what are you doing, Leon? Yeah, gets you out of nowhere. The U3 boss, right, or it, I think it's called at one point. That was completely cut out of the remake.
What one?
So this is the one where you are in the sort of tanker containers hanging above a big pit, and you've got like a kind of a big sort of sluggy weird bloke, and you have to kind of, it's like starts off as a puzzle thing where he will be crawling around the top, there'll be a QTE to kind of dodge underneath him, and sometimes he'll drop down, but you're basically going to find buttons to shoot with your pistol to open up the next section of these 3 crates. And they get increasingly more maze-like and difficult.
The pendulum ball you've got to fire about.
Pendulum ball.
Yeah, there's like like those things that you would destroy a room, and you go into a room, there's like lava in the middle, there's one of these big balls in the middle. You've got to break the wall down to get through, and then enemies come at you. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Probably before that. It's before you fight Krauser anyway, that's for sure. If you go on the wiki and you just type U-3, you'll see it, as they call it.
Oh, there, U3. What the shit is that? I need to see that in gameplay. I'll know it as soon as I see it in gameplay. This is the remake, but I'm hoping... No, that's... Oh! Oh, yeah. Yeah. 2005. I always see it again. Yeah. Oh, where you're going through the containers and you've got to find your way through the... You've got to like open the buttons to make the container lift open so that you can go through, and then it drops. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
Yeah.
That was cool. I enjoyed that. I like that.
I think that's great. I think it's really clever
really
fight.
And yeah, I actually think one of the thing this game does well actually is the variety of ways that you've got to interact with sort of bosses and sort of special enemies.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is another really interesting one as well. Really, really good.
Yeah, because even after that, you didn't have to sort of... I'm pretty sure you have to kill it after that section anyway when it comes out of the ground.
Well, I did anyway. I had to have a fight with it.
Yeah, because I don't think it's like loads of grates that are locked, and I think you only get a key by killing it.
Yeah,
and it fucking tanked through a rocket launcher shot for me. Like I didn't one shot him, and I was like, oh, I'm out of ideas and weapons.
I rocketed it and then used up all my magnum ammo. It was still going.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
He's he's got 4,500. What did we say? 4,500 HP. What did we say the other one had? 20,000.
Yeah.
That's mad, yeah. Because this one feels tough.
Yeah, the nitrous must take a lot off.
Yeah, you'd hope so. Yeah, mental. So did they definitely did cut it out of the
I don't
the
remember.
remake, didn't
That
they?
felt new to me when I was doing that. I don't remember that. But yeah, that was a really cool section.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best bosses in the game. Certainly better than Krauser, who can be killed. I didn't actually watch you fight Krauser. Did you take my advice and just knife him? Wait for him to come close and swing a knife? Or did you shoot the bastard?
I had to do it a couple times. So in the build up to it, I did a lot of kiting. So I would sort of walk until I saw him, kite him out, and then run, climb a ladder. And there was like a tower area at the start. So I'd kite him because he would chase after you and climb up the tower, and then you could stand and knife him. And then it would sort of instigate those quick time events. I had a really tough time with the sort of the final phase of him where you're on top of, I don't know, a different tower. But yeah, I did. Tried to basically just get as close as I could, dodge, and then knife. But then I feel like he gets smart and starts dodging your knife. So
he does dodge it a little bit because that's when he has like a sort of a claw shield almost, isn't it? And as he comes towards you.
Now I'm talking about it. How I remember I did it is actually I had some rifle bullets, sort of long range rifle bullets, and they would sort of knock one hit from that would knock him to his knees. So I would shoot him with a rifle, knock him to his knees, and then run at him and knife him until he did his vanishing act, rinse and repeat, and that's how I ended up beating him. But it was tough. I found that tough. That whole section. The bit before that, there's a bit where he sort of stands above you. And every time you run out, I found that bit hard, and I sort of
that bit's harder than the actual confrontation. Yeah,
I sort of muddled through that without really knowing how I got through it. If I'm completely honest.
Yeah, that's a bit hectic because he's all over the place. He's got the little robot things coming after you, and he's like shooting explosive bolts. But once you get to that final confrontation,
how did you do it? What was your?
You just stand and wait for him to come close enough to you. So you just stand still with your knife out, and as he creeps towards you, he will eventually go to attack, and you just swing your knife, and you're like 6 or 7 of those, and he's dead.
Yeah, I didn't
like he's a total bitch. I think I must have learned that through watching people speed run it and just doing that.
The guide does not tell you to do that. So
does it not?
Yeah, no. The guide I was using, no. It was.
Let's see what the wiki says, because I imagine it's probably going to talk about how you can kill him with a knife.
So you've got I feel like you're leveling up. And if it doesn't say that, you need to get yourself registered to that wiki and let people know.
Knife attack. At melee range, Krauser's... Yeah. Oh no, that's his thing.
Because I found it really tough.
Did you play any of the mercenaries mode?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you unlock him in the mercenaries mode. He's quite fun to play as because you get to use his explosive. No, you get not explosive, but you get to use his like bow and arrow. That's quite fun.
Cool.
I'm not. This is talking about gameplay. Is there a strategy or something?
I used the RE4 wiki. So if you maybe look at the same one as me.
Yeah, I'm on the like Resident Evil .fandom thing.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the one I used. Because I
don't like
find
using fandom.
The IGN wiki is just the remake. Like whenever you'll click on the 2005 game, it'll take you to the remake wiki.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's the first thing that comes up whenever you Google Resident Evil 4 these days. But it is what it is. But yeah, that's how you beat him anyway. Just stand still and wait for him to get close and knife him. How you beat Sadler is don't do what I did, which again was waste a rocket launcher shot by shooting at him immediately, and it just sort of bounced off him. Whereas you have to obviously wear. Did you do what? I don't think I saw you do this either. I remember saying to you like, heed my warning, wear him down so that he's got a clear and open weak point before you use the rocket launcher, or you will waste it like I did. So I'm assuming you managed to avoid all the running around that area that I had to deal with.
I did, and actually I was so glad of it because I remember. Again, like comparing it to the remake, I had a bit of trouble with that one. Doing a lot of running about and jumping around. Whereas this one, I heeded your warnings. He was dealt with very quickly, which was great.
Yeah, I think you can sort of kite him around. There's a lot of explosive barrels. There's like you can like press a button and Leon will kind of drop some like scaffolding
okay,
metal on him or whatever. He like swings these things into his head. So, and then at the end of that fight, so even if you use the rocket launcher, obviously, then Ada gives you the super rocket launcher, which you also get in the remake, don't you? And in the remake, I'm pretty sure it kind of puts it almost like you go right up behind Leon, and he just gets so massive he fills the whole screen, and it's just a straight up like shooting right in the middle of the gob. Mm-hmm. It's not quite as easy or as straightforward in the original version. It's just. Yeah, you still have one shot to get it right. I assume if you miss, she'll give you another one. I don't actually know what happens there. I can't remember.
It's because you're too good and you don't miss, Alex.
I assume so, yeah. But I think doing it the normal way made me kind of appreciate that boss fight for what it does, which is gives you a fair few options to kind of slow him down and open up his weak points to try and shoot him in the knees once he gets a big eyeball on him. And then, of course, after you do that, you have a random jet ski escape segment for some reason, which I failed quite a few times. I failed that a few times, is where I mostly died in this game. So yeah, me too. I failed it a lot of times. I failed the QTE when you have the knife fight with Krauser loads of times. I just got really shit at the QTEs in this game. But it's quite a funny ending. And my favourite bit about the jet ski section, obviously, is afterwards where Ashley tries to ask Leon out and he like basically shuts her down. He's like, nah, love, I've got shit to do. I enjoyed that a lot.
I like that. I was actually been thinking about it the whole time. It's like as soon as he shoots her down, because I was like, so he seems to be. So he starts off the game and he's hitting on his handler, but then Ada Wong comes along, and then the game sort of forgets that the handler exists and is just like, oh yeah, Leon's got this weird romantic thing going on with Ada, which is why I think he knocks back Heather Graham, who's also an actress that was in Austin Powers 2, which is why I keep getting confused.
Maybe.
So he's fine to hit on his handler. Mm-hmm. Heather Graham's off the table. But Ada Wong's is absolutely on the table.
Oh, he can't let her go, can he?
No, Ada Wong has just caused him nothing but shit, really, since day one.
He just cannot. Yeah, he just. Yeah. I wonder if things could have been so different if he ever actually did anything proactive with Ada Wong instead of just like fawning over her and letting her get away with all this shit that she just does in every game.
Which is it? He gets shot in one of the Resident Evils. Which is the Resident Evil? Is it 2?
Oh yeah, it's 2. Yeah, because she kind of helps him, or is it Claire that helped him?
No, I think
I can't remember now. But yeah, he ends up with a bandage on afterwards, isn't it?
He's fine once he puts his bandage on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you got to do, mate.
He gets a lot of shit in this game that he's fine with as well.
Got a bandage on. But yeah.
So that's. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Nope, nothing. Carry on.
Oh, okay. Well, that's as I said, that ends the game at that point. So that's the end of quite an epic adventure. Did you have any bits that you didn't like so much? I think probably for me, it's not even that bad, really. But the enduring kind of meme about this game is how annoying Ashley is and how much she gets in the way and how the whole game's one long escort mission, which of course it isn't. They definitely smartened her up and made her more not useful but less useless in the segments where you're having to take care of her. But I think for me that she's probably the weakest part of this game, where you have to just kind of mind where she is all the time. It takes away some of the fun of engaging the enemies and makes it a little bit too needlessly stressful, because I'm pretty sure you can kill. Well, you did kill her, didn't you, by accident at one point?
Yeah, and on the dumper truck section where she's driving. Yeah, I
hate that bit. Sucks. I'm not a fan of that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, completely honestly, I was expecting her to be more annoying than she actually was. For the most part, I'd say in like 99% of situations, you can either just sort of leave her behind you or stick her in a dumpster and then just move on with your life.
Yeah, those bits are a godsend, aren't they? The dumpster bits.
Yeah, I actually don't think she's that bad. The thing that bugs me about her from a sort of narrative perspective is just how useless they make her. But then, like, this is probably me getting overly dramatic, but I do think, like, Japanese games in general have got especially of that sort of age and previous, have maybe got a challenge with that, and that they do sort of just have, here's a woman who just needs to be rescued by a big hunky man.
I mean, that's just so ingrained in their everyday culture as well, to be fair. Like, so
I almost feel like slightly guilty even bringing that up, but it does sort of lean into that, and I just think she's like overly useless. Like the fact that she can't climb down a ladder is like, if her life if her life depends on it, she could climb down a ladder. So like, so for me, that would be like, again, like, I'm being picky here, but like, there's a sort of slight maintenance issue, i.e., like you go down a bit and you've got to turn around and press square so that she jumps down on top of you. Whereas I would rather she just climbed down the ladder and followed me. Like, that's not a big deal. Like, why do we have to do that? I don't know. Maybe there's a coding issue with that, and it would be memory intensive to have her climbing down a ladder. But then they've got enemies climbing up and down ladders all the time, so I'm not convinced that that's actually the thing. But yeah, no, I for the most part I thought she was fine. She's annoyingly useless, but for the most part I didn't feel like she got in the way too much, apart from when I shot her in the back of the head.
But yeah, where she suddenly could just drive that truck.
She could suddenly drive a truck. But yeah, I thought she was okay, to be honest. She didn't annoy me. Like I said, she's quite infamous, so I was expecting to find her quite annoying. But yeah, I didn't. I honestly didn't. I thought she was fine. The most annoying aspect of her was her personality, more than definitely. I think there's.
I could be off the mark here, but it does feel to me that there are some subtle, maybe not subtle, but there are some undertones of a little bit of anti-American rhetoric in that game. And I think part of that might be rooted in
2005,
post-Afghanistan, because they make her out to be an idiot. They keep talking about Leon being an American, and they also talk about Sadler at one point says something along the lines of he says something about America tries to police the world and it's not going to be allowed to do that anymore because they're going to take over the world. And Sadler also says, Leon says something to Sadler about like something he's doing is terrorism, and Salazar says, isn't that a popular word these days? And there's like a few hints in there that this was made, like, you know, started in 2003, which is, I think that was the invasion of Afghanistan around about that time, or they were definitely there at that point.
9/11,
I don't know how quickly after 9/11, 2001, they jumped on them.
Yeah, so they tried to get a UN I'd say 2002, 2003 would be the invasion of Iraq.
Yeah,
in fact, probably Iraq. Yeah, after that, and then they occupied Afghanistan. Yeah, by time this came out, they were definitely in Afghanistan.
Yeah, so I think this game does try to weave in some slight digs at America's global policies around that time, just based off of those four things of how they portray really Leon's nationality, how they portray Ashley as a person, and then the mentions of America policing the world and pointing out terrorism being a popular word. But that, you know, that's there's my 2 cents. I could be way off the mark, but I think there's something to that.
You might be way off the mark, but it's actually an interesting thing. And now that you're saying that, I think I went to Tea in the Park in 2005-ish. I think it was 2005, and Green Day would be the headliner. And that was the year that American Idiot came out, and they were obviously they're American, but there was a very prevalent anti-American sentiment with them during that period. So you're right in that where I'm going with this is that there was a sort of an anti-American thing going on. This would be around the time that Team America would have come out as well.
Well, there was very much an anti-George Bush sentiment, wasn't there? Because I remember Fat Records, the record label from Fat Mike of NoFX, they released 2 albums called Rock Against Bush, and they had the War on Errorism as an album as well. So that kind of subculture was very much ingrained in anti-Bush rhetoric. So maybe they were just sort of tapping into the kind of people that they're looking at as their audience, teenagers or whatever.
You could be right, actually. And then I'm also thinking about an article I wrote for, I don't know, something. I have no idea what I wrote it for. But it was basically about the lost generation in Japan and what.
Yeah, that was for Sega Mania, I think.
Yeah,
or Sega Force
sprouted the what sprouted the sort of anti-establishment feeling in Japan, which would have been around about the same time. I think you're onto something with that. If I'm honest, I think you could be with that there. Yeah, I think that's a great and also I don't know.
Metal Gear too, I guess, right?
Yeah, and does this prove or disprove your point? But I think one thing I was also aware of when I was playing the game was that how this is one thing I find. Like, I'm gonna jump to something else, but hopefully bring it back. But like one thing I find fascinating is like Kojima, for example, in Japanese sort of media. Whether it's positive or negative, does have a fascination with American culture, right? Like Kojima loves it. He is very interested.
I mean, Japan loves it.
Japan loves it. But at the same time, maybe they're obviously aware of the negatives and the shortcomings and the failings of it at the same time. I did have a point to make with this, and now I've sort of lost my memory. Now I've lost my train of thought. I find it fascinating that Japanese culture seems to be simultaneously aware and sort of critical of it. Then I guess because I agree with this, but also simultaneously fascinated by it, which I think is an interesting.
It's true
thing.
It's like they adopted it so quickly after the war as well.
Mm-hmm.
A war that, famously Japan has not been as forthcoming in accepting and acknowledging its actions. It's certainly nowhere near Germany's level, where they basically admitted everything was their fault and were, completely ashamed of it. Right. Whereas Japan just sort of erases a lot of it and doesn't. Yeah. They don't teach kids about it and. Yeah.
So it's such this is absolutely fascinating because I do listen to a few World War II podcasts and they talk about how, like, if you were, like, for Europeans, for example, World War II was started in 1939. But if you were Chinese, World War II started in, like, the early 30s because that's when Japan invaded China.
Yeah. And they did some very bad shit.
Yeah, you have stumbled across something very interesting. You've made some. Yeah, that is. I
mean, I've been to the Edo Tokyo Museum and I've looked at their World War II part of that Japanese history thing, and it's literally just a map of areas of Tokyo that were bombed. That is it. They don't talk about anything else.
That's again. Obviously, we're drifting away from Resident Evil 4, but like that is sort of on the Resident Evil 4 topic and Americanism and critiquing of it. It's one thing that's very interesting. One of the most poignant things I've ever seen is when I was in Louisiana, and we went to a World War II museum, and they had a watch from one of the guys that was on one of the flights that dropped one of the bombs over one of the Japanese cities.
Jeez.
And the interesting thing about this watch is that it stopped at the exact time that they dropped the bomb, obviously, because the nuclear blast just like broke it. So like this mechanical watch is just like broken and shows the time that he dropped the bomb. Because you're right, like where I'm going with this is what is interesting is like because that is so fascinating because you're right. They in a way that Germany has sort of held its hands up and sort of spent the best part of 100 years mentally flagellating itself.
Yeah.
Because of what they cause of the World War II. Like, in many ways, like Japan hasn't, but also Japan probably paid the highest price of all countries.
Yeah.
In a way that other countries didn't, because it's the only one that got bombed with a nuclear weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not surprised that there would be an anti-American sentiment, but I mean, there's a simultaneous fascination with
there is,
as well. Yeah, it's a really
eating KFC
point.
on Christmas Day or whatever. Yeah,
they do, don't they?
Yeah. And what's also interesting is that like everything else before this in Resident Evil was contained within their version of America. Yeah,
you've rescued it like a boss.
So like, everything's in Raccoon City, everything, or Rockfort Island, that's also in America. And the only time you've ever really left that country in these games is when you go to the Antarctic in Code Veronica, but there's nobody there. And never really has there ever been a dissenting voice in these games other than evil American corporation does evil things. But this is the first time that they've taken Resident Evil outside of America, and they've taken it to a country that is not Japan. And perhaps that lends them this idea that we can say that these Spanish people don't like America's behavior, and it doesn't have to therefore sound like it's our Japanese opinion of Americans. We can just say, you're in this Spanish village and Leon Kennedy's getting loads of shit for being an American because Americans come in and they ruin everything and they police the whole world and blah, 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 blah. So it's like the first time we've ever seen these characters not within America. They're in another country and they're getting shit for being American, which had not happened before. And it's triggered as probably one of the first major games that they brought out after all of these wars.
I guess to play,
but I don't know.
I'd love to sort of pick this apart a little bit more, but like I guess my attempt to sort of counter that is that everything that isn't American culture in Resident Evil games is sort of quaint and old and backwater and.
Well, that's true. They're not doing much for the Spanish in this one either.
No, but I'm even thinking about like Resident Evil 7 or 8, like when you go to like Transylvania type town, like they're all living in castles, they're all living in houses with power. You're lucky they've got windows. Like everything that isn't American is just. But then you are playing an American, so are you seeing it through their eyes? I don't know. Maybe that's the counterpoint to the counterpoint. In that America looks at the world as some sort of backwater, uncivilized. You're lucky to have electricity because we give you electricity. But maybe that in itself is a I don't know. You've stumbled across something, not stumbled across, but you've hit on something. Yeah, that I never considered, but is actually really interesting. Yeah, that's a really I'm going to have to think on this.
Yeah. Shall we end it there? Shall we go to bed on that notion?
We'll go to bed.
Obviously, an incredible game. One that's been a favorite of mine for many, many years. Legacy goes on and on and on. It's up there with like 2 and the remake of 1. Yeah, those three are the holy trinity for me.
I'm trying to think.
Well, we haven't ranked it. We need to do that because I wrote down our ranking, didn't I?
Yeah,
for that very moment. I think I sent it to you somewhere. I think I starred the message, so I should be able to find it. But you if you have any more things to say, you can do that while I find this.
I just try to think, going into this, obviously, I was like, will I like this more than the remake?
Yeah.
Or not?
That's what I'm interested about the most, is how you feel about this versus the remake. Because I know you're a massive remake fan.
I loved the remake. I thought it might... I wouldn't like to be... I've got a tendency to be hyperbolic, but it might... 4 might make a top 10 for me.
Oh, all-time top 10,
I'm trying to think of games it
is so good.
I know this is such a belligerent point to make, but I still maintain this. Like, my favorite Resident Evil game of all time is still Dead Space. And the Dead Space remake
Did you know, actually, on that point, did you know that initially Dead Space had the Resident Evil 4 tank controls in it?
Did it?
Because they were so inspired by it, and they focus tested it, and people didn't like it because they played Gears by that point. So then they removed it, but they wanted to keep. They were so enamored with how the tank controls kind of add a sense of tension, and by making you less mobile, that they wanted that, and they had that in the early builds. And
that's correct.
So they took it out.
It's just
sorry, carry on.
No, it's up there. I think I would have to really sit and think on it. I came away having had an amazing time with 4. Do I think 4 is better than the 4 remake? I don't know.
It's time to find out.
Yeah. Let's find out. I think so. Where I struggle with this is if you're recommending games. So if there was a kid, so when Cassie, for example, hits let's say 15 and she's playing video games and she wants to sort of learn about older video games. Resident Evil 4, because of the tank controls. For me, now that I've spent 4 years, it's not a thing. It's fine. It's something I can sort of get on board with. If you're just sort of trying to recommend the game cold to someone, I'm not sure it's an easy sell. Whereas the 4 remake is an easy sell because it'll feel more modern. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, of course.
I think it's every bit as good.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's every bit as good as the remake, but I think you have to, with the old one, you have to sort of accept that it is what it is, and I also have to sort of recognize that I have been schooled by you and been schooled by just sheer volume of Resident Evil games we've played over the last few years, that tank controls don't bother me, because I also have to remember that they used to bother me. They used to be a thing that I didn't like, and now I don't mind them and I quite like them, but it's because I'm used to them. I don't mind them anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these are such a unique set of tank controls as well, aren't they? Where
they're different from 1 and 2.
It's all from behind it. Yeah. I think that just the laser sight and everything is just such a cool concept that works so well.
It does.
That they didn't do that themselves afterwards, right? Because I'm pretty sure 5 probably had it, because I think that still had some element of tank controls. Yeah. But after that was gone, it's all just normal reticles again. There was
a lot of discourse around 5 that it still had the tank controls. Is there still a place for this?
Yeah, that was the last time they did it, wasn't it? Because then they were on to 6, which didn't have tank controls and all the other nonsense they made.
Awful. 6 was awful. It was its own brand of awful.
Yeah. Okay, so here's our current list from last year's Resident Evil Summer of Resi. We have not yet added in Code Veronica, so we'll do that first, which is probably the harder one to put in here. So we had 13 games so far.
I need to open
We're counting 6 as a reminder. It's just a message that I sent you. I'll tell you what, I'll put it in the...
Oh, you sent me a text, did you?
Yeah, I just had to scroll back through loads to find it. I'll put it in the
WhatsApp here.
Discord chat.
Oh, good.
Or will I?
It's just taking its time to load. I think my PC is eventually starting to show its age, and that it doesn't like having web browsers open while we're doing this podcast. Used to be fine.
Right, there's the list in the Discord for you to look at now in this chat.
Thank you.
So, but you read them.
It's still.
I like having you do the countdown.
The screen. Yeah, this is the first time my PC tonight. Actually, is the first time my PC. So I'm like, oh, my PC is. Well, I think I got this one. Did I have this? I must have bought this when I moved here, and I've lived here for 3 or 4 years now. So,
yeah, I think. So I don't remember if you had it when I came to visit you the last time in your old house. So no, I think, didn't. Yeah.
You sent it in this chat. Oh yeah, okay. So we've got 13. We've got Resident Evil 6. Number 12. We've got Resident Evil 5. Number 11. We've got Resident Evil 3 Remake, number in the top 10. Resident Evil 0. Number 9, Resident Evil Original. Number 8, Dino Crisis. Number 7, Resident Evil 7. Good number. Number 6, Resident Evil Village. Number 5, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Number 4, Resident Evil 4 Remake. Number 3, Resident Evil Remake. Number 2, Resident Evil 2 Remake. And number 1, Resident Evil 2. That's a 1-2 combo, isn't it? Resident Evil 2 and 2 Remake. Have we got an area that we want to look at for Resident Evil 4? Do you think it's better than the remake?
Yeah.
So we're looking at top 3 then, or top 4.
I think it should go alongside the remake. I definitely think that.
I think it's probably. I think it's. This is our list, right? So I need to divorce the.
Well, we need to put Code Veronica in there as well. Remember?
Is this what we're doing? Are we doing Code Veronica first?
Well, it's up to you.
Well, we've started talking about Resident Evil 4. So
yeah.
So I need to divorce the imaginary story that I've created about trying to make your daughter play Resident Evil 4 from this.
She'll do what she's told.
Yeah, she'll do. This is our list. I would say Resident Evil 4 OG goes one above the remake, below Resident Evil Remake. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm fine. I am fine with that.
Okay.
That puts it in at number 4, doesn't it?
Yes. So it would be number 4. Moving down Resident Evil 4 Remake to 5. Code Veronica. Yeah. Oh my God.
See, Code Veronica's in a bit of a weird spot. So's Dino Crisis in number 8.
That's where I was sort of looking. Is 8ish, and I'm like, do I like Dino Crisis more than Code Veronica?
But probably. See, I don't know if I like Code Veronica more than Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I think I struggle to. Oh,
so you're looking at Code Veronica around 5?
Do I like it? Do I like it more than 7 and 8?
I'm a little bit. So I think it's a great game. The problem that I still have with it is that you can back, unless you follow a guide, you can back yourself into a corner that makes the game unfinishable. And that boss on the plane is awful.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But it is a really good Resident Evil game. Do you know the worst thing about this list?
Is the 2 most recent ones?
There's 14. Well, now we've added 4 to this list. There are 14 games on this list, and I like 13 of them are 13 of them are great games. 12 of them are 9 of them are fantastic games.
Yeah.
It's like for OG Resident Evil to be down at 9. Like, I love that game. But it's
Code Veronica is obviously better than that.
Yeah,
I don't know why 5's underneath 3 remake.
The problem so I know you're hovering around Village and 7. I think I like Dino Crisis better than I like Code Veronica.
Yeah, I think I do too.
I like the T-Rex.
Well, shall we just let's again, it's our list. We've got a year to stew on this again. We've had a year to stew on it since now. I would suggest we moved. I'd be cool with splitting 7 and Village with Code Veronica, or would I? I've put Resident. I think I prefer Code Veronica to 7 because 7's ending is fucking weak. Village is probably 7's better. 7's
ending is weak, but I would also remind you of 7's beginning.
Yeah, that is so good, though.
I think it's one of the strongest of the 14, actually. When you're walking around. And then,
so we just
is it Village? Am I remembering the wrong game? No, it's 7's the one where you end up tied to a chair.
Yeah, 7's the one in the house, and then when you got to do the saw game as well. That's right. And Village was just
and Village. The thing for me that is great about Village is that it explores multiple horror genres.
Yeah, it's first-person Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
just basically. Okay, so shall we do
the start to Resident Evil up until you sort of run the guy over in his garage?
I love that bit.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's maybe as scary as Resident Evil's
It's just the blob monsters at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. The blob monsters.
What did we say we liked Dino Crisis more than?
I think I like Dino Crisis more than Code Veronica, because I like I think the T-Rex is so fun.
Okay.
But if you can remember, is there more depth to Dino Crisis? Yeah, there's good puzzles in Dino Crisis, right? There's the different color coded stuff that you've got to try and get yourself through the security area that I remember. It was good.
I mean, you've conceded Resident Evil 4 above the remake, so let's just put Code Veronica underneath Dino Crisis. I think I'm fine with that.
And what about Village and 7?
Yeah, we can leave them there. You've convinced me. You've brought me back round on the beginning of 7.
I feel like I brought you back on the beginning of 7, but I do agree with you in the end of 8. Village, I just think, is a more coherent game.
Yeah, Village is definitely better than 7. I would have probably split the two and put Code Veronica above 7, but I think you've talked me back round to the beginning of that. But it goes underneath Dino Crisis as well. So
the thing that's worrying me about this is that I'm remembering the T-Rex and being entertained by the chase that you get at the end, the fact that he just will randomly pop out and eat people. Am I forgetting that is it a bog standard room to room game that I'm just remembering the T-Rex?
I don't think so. We've championed it ever since we played it.
There are good puzzles in that game.
Good puzzles. It was the first one to have like the fully sort of 3D environments. It
uses it uses reflections as well, which I think is quite cool.
Yeah, and the dinosaurs can move through rooms after you and stuff like that. Like it's such a unique spin-off that I wish that I'm so desperate for them to return to. Yeah, let's leave that as it is. Let's put Code Veronica
in 9.
Well, I suppose it's going to be 10 now because of the because 4's slotted in there as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but above the original Resi, below Dino Crisis, and I think that's a decent spot.
So we've got 15 Resi 6, 14 Resi 5, 13 3 remake. 12.
I kind of want 5 above 3 remake, but I don't know why.
I'll give you that. If you want to move 5 above 3 make, because I liked 3 make for what it was, but see now the more distance I get from it, sort of. So I remember when you start that game, I'm just like the intro cutscene is amazing. Your first interaction with that thing is great, but then when you realize it's not as organic as the original. Like Resident Evil 2 remake, the old sort of, not the original, but the Resident Evil 2 make where he's sort of ever present and this thing is just sort of sprouting out. No, I agree with you. I like it. I do like it for what it was, but I do think it's a casualty of COVID probably. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
But I do like it for what it is. It's just a simpler, less ambitious remake than certainly 2 remake was.
Yeah, it's just there's a tab of our Resident Evil rankings on the fucking spreadsheet. Why did I not find that in the last episode?
I mean, I'm as bad as you. I didn't find it either. Is it in the same order?
Yeah, it is. So we're moving right. So we're moving 5.
I can pull this up. Winners You Compendium of Madness. Xbox 360 Top 100, Resi ranking. There it goes. Oh, no, I've even gone through and done all the Metacritic scores.
Yeah, that's amazing that you did that. That's absolutely amazing. And look, the top one there, second top at the Metacritic is Code Veronica.
94.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that blows my mind a little bit.
God, you've done an amazing job on this part. So then we're doing like that, aren't we?
I mean, I feel like based on this, we can do at least we've got plenty more Resident Evil games. If we go down to 80, which seems to be a great game, we can all go all the way down to Resident Evil Revelations.
The only ones that we haven't done down that list up to that point is Dino Crisis 2 and the Revelations games. Yeah,
I
think that's where we're at next.
Are the ones that are like sort of Left 4 Dead-ish, right? The sort of walk-in sim-ish ones. Is that right? Have I got that?
No, right? I don't really know what that would be.
There's ones you just sort of walk around.
That's probably the Umbrella. It might be the Chronicles ones on the Wii. They're like a light gun game though. But Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 are as close to a proper Resi as we were getting at the time they were coming out, when we were stuck dealing with shit like
because of you, I am
Raccoon City and stuff.
Really keen to play all of the Resident Evil games apart from the truly terrible ones. Like I am so on board.
Yeah.
With the Summer of
So
Resi.
we've done.
So it's basically up to you how far down the list we go.
So we've done.
I mean, I really love Dino Crisis. It's got a 74. Does that mean I'll like?
That's sickening that it's got that.
Like Revelations, Umbrella Chronicles, Revelations 2. I probably won't like Outbreak. Maybe it's like 3 points lower.
I don't think that's playable really without us trying to figure out that the on how to get the online to work.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a lot. Dino Crisis 2 is the highest Metacritic that we haven't played yet, 86. I thought that was received poorly, honestly.
What's that, Revelations?
No, Dino Crisis 2.
Dino Crisis 2. No, people loved it.
See, I thought it was a game that it was a bit like Wind Waker, and that it was poorly received initially, and then people thought, oh yeah, actually that's really good.
People just seem to like have this idea that Dino Crisis was too like close in formula to Resident Evil, like what Resident Evil already was, and then 2 becoming this more like arcadey action shooter game. People were like, oh, that's what it should have been all along. It's something so totally different.
Yeah, it is very different.
So I think next year we do Revelations 1 and 2.
Yeah, that feels good. It also gives me a year to get a 3DS because I've been wanting one for a long time.
Yeah, but obviously Revelations is on PC, so you can just play that one. Yeah.
I do want a 3DS though.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to talk you out of that. Looks like both of them are on PC, which is a nice surprise. I wonder if they've got some kind of
Revelations 1 and 2. That's a nice 1-2 combo. I like that.
Yeah. And I think that personally, from looking at this list, other than Dino Crisis 2, which I really like, I think Revelations 1 and 2 are the best options we have. And by quite some distance. I mean, outside of that, it is really
we'll get half
the light gun games.
Maybe we have to do, because I feel like if there's not another one, if we're looking at good games on this list, if we're doing Revelations 1 and 2, maybe we just pull the stops out and do Revelations 1, 2 and Dino Crisis 2 next year, and then we have to find a new Summer of after next year.
Yeah. Because obviously the new Resi that's coming out, that's going to come out in February this next year, so that won't be part of the summer. That'll just get played
when it comes out.
Yeah. Other than that, we've only really got an attempt to play 6 again and then try and get Outbreak to work, but I don't know if that's worth it.
What do we do for a new Summer of? We've got another whole year. We've got 2 years to think about it, but
yeah, exactly. We'll figure that out.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Summer of.
But yeah, so Resident Evil 4, the original, is now 4 in our ranking.
And we'll probably have played Silent Hill.
Code Veronica is 10.
Well. Summer of Silence. We've probably played them all by then.
Yeah. And that's that.
Yeah, so you've done it. Sorry. You've got 15 Resident Evil 6, 14 Resident Evil 3 Remake, 13 Resident Evil 5, 12 Resident Evil 0, 11 Resident Evil 10, Resident Evil Code Veronica, 9 Dino Crisis, 8 Resident Evil 7, 7 Village, 6 Nemesis, 5 4 Remake, 4 4, 3 Remake, 2
Oh, the original remake.
1 2.
It'll be on the socials, lads. You can see it.
Jesus fucking Christ. That gets confusing fast. But yeah,
that is, yeah.
I did open this up. So next up, Alex, we have got Halo.
Halo.
Yeah.
Oh, buzzing, mate.
Which one? Podcast games list. Halo.
Reach.
15-year anniversary. And
followed
by Halo 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun month.
Yep.
And actually, I actually think I've really enjoyed this podcast. We should try and up. If we don't have a game to cover, maybe we should just pop in and do a list or a top, whatever. See if we can find some sort of thing to fill the time, because it's been a fun podcast. So thank you for your time, mate. I've enjoyed that. But yes.
Yeah, we need to do the top part 3 of the 360 top 100 as well. That's penciled in.
Yes.
And then it's on to Spooktober.
Then it's on to Spooktober. And we've got things penciled in for that, so keep listening for that. But yeah, next up, like I said, we've got Halo Reach, which I am excited by. I think I texted you about this. It's probably the only game. Well, actually, 4 or 5 and whatever we've got, I've only played once, but I've only ever played Reach once, and this is the last time.
Me too.
This is the last time Bungie took on the reins of the Halo franchise, so this is probably quite a momentous game. Played it once.
Yes, absolutely.
Last time Bungie touched the Halo franchise, before moving on to pastures new with Destiny. So yeah, this will be a fun one. Going to be looking forward to that. I guess on that note, we've reached the end of another episode. If you liked what you heard, and even if you didn't, why not give our numbers a bump by subscribing to us on your podcast feed of choice? Or if you prefer to consume our podcast in a visual format, you can head on over to YouTube and search for our Winner Is You podcast. We can subscribe to the channel. If podcast isn't enough for you, then the best place to get us these days is over on Blue Sky at Thrillix for Alex, at Super Smiley with 2 L's, i.e. for me, and at Winner Is You Pod for us. If you are one of the youngins and you also have TikTok, head over there and just search for Winner Is You Pod. We pop up. Any housekeeping, Alex, what we've been up to, what you've been playing, any other podcast chat for us?
The Hall of Fame podcast will have another episode out by the time you hear this, which it will be games represented in Smash Brothers.
Shit. Metal Gear.
There's an amazing
jumps to mind for me. Is mine.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I think most of those have been nominated before or in already, thanks to me.
Kirby, maybe? I've not really played much Kirby.
Yeah, but
Sonic.
there's the Smash Bros. Wiki is amazing in that it has basically a list of everything that's represented.
There's so many
and
games.
Because the most recent Smash had these like events, like where it would just like up, like a normal sort of live service game try to do. They'd have like Criver events and stuff. So technically, you've got games in there like Assassin's Creed, Doom, really? Warframe, like they would all count technically. So it's so wide open that franchise now. So there were some interesting nominations in that one for sure. My nomination was Star Fox 64 as a spoiler, but you have to go into the episode to hear my justification for that, or Lilac Wars for us Brits. So that'll be out. That's it. That's my housekeeping.
And that's the end. And I guess on that bombshell, he's been out, and we have been at Winner Is You, and I'm out.
Keep gaming. See you next summer, or next episode, probably.
Next summer.
Prefer that.
Bye.